And action.
Oh, Original OC here with you on the Original OC channel. It is Wednesday, April 30th, the last day of the month, April 30th, 2025. Rolex price increases are going into effect all around the world tonight. We have live coverage as the Rolex price increases take effect. We have correspondents standing by in Europe at this hour to document in real time the changes to the pricing schedule. And we also have a fantastic analysis coming up, which you and I, the watch community and I, will conduct in real time. That's right. We will conduct an analysis in real time. Waco of Revolution Watch has put out a video responding to the state of the industry and the hard truths facing the watch industry. And we're going to analyze this video frame by frame, word by word. So buckle up, guys. It's going to be good. You're going to want to jump on the panel for this one. We're going to be, Waco discusses the tariffs and the weakening US dollar and the impact on the global watch market. Here I am. By the way, check out this incredible tan. I'm in full George Hamilton mode here. I'm rocking the Pepsi. Check it out. This is the Rolex reference 126710 BLRO. That is the commonly known as the Pepsi, the blue and red bezel with the black dial, stainless steel on the Jubilee. Let's get to the chat and see who we have. When we get to a bunch of people watching, then we will start the video. We'll do the full real analysis. And by the way, there's some shocking recommendations here for the watch market. And he has recommendations for us as U.S. customers, believe it or not. By the way, quick audio check. Quick customary audio check. Check 1 2 1 2. Please let me know how I sound. Check 1 2 1 2. Let me know that the audio is in pristine condition. Let's see who we have in the chat. We have Mr. Tutor to You. Second to none. That's right. Mr. Tutor to You is first today. Thank you very much. Really Appreciate your speed to race to get to number one. I'm curious, Mr. Tutor, to you, how do you know that I'm going live? Do you get a notification on your phone? Guys, please make sure that you go into settings, notifications, YouTube, and make sure that notifications are on. The report that I get from YouTube shows that only about 25% of you have notifications enabled. Please enable notifications. We have Logan Hall's grill streams, not first. Aw. Not first, but he is a member, which reminds me that if you have a star next to your name, please click on the currency icon next to the chat. You may have a free member milestone chat there. Use it before you lose it. Please use those member milestone chats, free super chats for you guys who are members. If you don't have a star next to your name, click on the link I just dropped in the chat to become a member today. It's the last day of the month. We're doing a membership drive today. We're doing a membership drive. We want to get to I just want to make sure that anybody who watches on a regular basis is a member. You know, that's all I care about. If you guys like the show, you like to support the channel, just become a member. That's easy. We got Matthias in the chat. Matthias is a member. Thank you for being here. Andy Lewis. Andy Lewis typically just says howdy y'all, but he supplements his greeting with Logan's wrist has grown an inch in a week. How do we know this? What is the oh, you're talking about the pictures? I haven't really scrutinized the latest pictures of Logan Hall, who picked up a brand spanking new to him vintage Rolex Submariner. Congratulations to Logan. He dumped the Zenith, he dumped the Tudor, and he picked up a Rolex, which makes me feel great. It should make us all feel good inside that he did it. It's gonna be May. Christopher Negroni in the chat. What's up? I didn't think you'd be old enough to know that. If you guys know where that comes from, type the answer in the chat. It's gonna be May. Artist and title. Artist and title. First person to do artist and title wins. That's right. We're going to be doing frame pause in this. We're going to go through the 6-hour video from Waco and his Asian partner in crime of legal age. I don't I don't know. Could you please let me know who this person is in the chat? This guy. He has an amazingly trendy haircut. And I think he dyes his hair, so it's that cool kind of color. If you could just let me know what his name in the chat, I'd really, really appreciate it, because I don't want to like just call him like the chubby Asian guy or anything like that. That's not nice. It's not nice, guys. It's not nice. I just want to know what his real name is. And he's not chubby, by the way. He's just round-faced. If that, he's a round-faced guy. He's not. I have no direct evidence that he's chubby. He's actually a pretty smart guy. Actually, one of the reasons why I love these videos from Waco and Revolution is because of this guy right here. This guy right here. No Biggie Sal, who is a member of the channel, along with Matthias and Logan Hall, upvoted for the fastest growing YouTube channel. That's actually not according to me, but according to the analytics team at YouTube. That's true. The fastest growing YouTube channel in the watch space in the United States, Canada, and the UK, according to YouTube Analytics. And by the way, the #1 live stream in the world of all live streams in the metric known as subscriber engagement. That's true. Hey, that's according to YouTube Analytics. Thank you to my YouTube team for all their support, but it's mainly because of you guys. You guys are the people who watch. Let's get up to, by the way, let's get up to 10 likes. 10 likes on the live stream. Let's do it. Let's get to 10 likes. We've got, who else do we have here? Who else is in the chat? Notifications all disabled. How do you even know? How do you even know that we're going live? It's amazing. Let's see here. Logan Hall says it's in sync. It's gonna be me. Very good. He got artist and title. He got artist and title. By the way, there's some shocking recommendations in this video. Absolutely shocking recommendations. He gives recommendations to U.S. customers about how to respond to these tariffs. And you're going to want to see this. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Matthias says, JT, baby. Yep. Nope. It's not Justin Timberlake. Not Justin Timberlake. It's NSYNC. Matthias. Fuck. You're terrible at this. You're terrible at this. It's okay. He's young. Matthias is young. He's only like 25, so he doesn't know. Hey, look at this. We got Ken in the chat. Cloud Ken. I was already on this week. No more hating on Asians. Actually, the chat doesn't know you're Asian, because you weren't. You didn't have a camera on. I was already on this week. No more hating on the Asians. China and the China and the U.S. need each other. Okay, cool. Not hating. I love the Asians. Listen, nobody loves the Asians more than I do. You can ask anybody. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone can tell you that OC loves the Asians of a legal age. Big fan of all the Asian boys. No, I love the team. I love the team at Revolution. There you go. It's a good shot. Revolution team right there. He's rotund. That's not nice. He looks pretty good here. Actually, just let me know what his name is. That's G 2.0. G 2.0. Come on, G doesn't wear glasses. G wears cool sunglasses. He doesn't wear glasses though. Oh, who else do we have here? Hey, we got Doc Mick in Florida. Hello, everyone. What's up, Doc Mick? That's it. That's all we have in the chat. Jeez. Sad state of affairs today. You know what? We're going to go anyway. You know why? Because we're going to continue on because this is news. This is news, and we're going to cover it. We're going to cover it, even on a Wednesday. So, by the way, huge shout out to Revolution Watch, the YouTube channel. If you guys want to learn more about Revolution Watch, I'll drop a link in the chat. This video that we're going to be covering today is on the Revolution Watch YouTube channel. And by the way, the content that we will be sharing today, if it's copyrighted, we will be republishing it consistent with United States copyright laws under fair use, because it is newsworthy and we will be doing commentary over it. So I want to thank the people at Revolution Watch for their cooperation, which means thank you for not striking the channel. But they can't strike it anyway, because what we're doing is fully legal and actually promotes them quite a bit, which is, I'm sure they're very appreciative. They need some more subs. They need more views and subs for this video. By the way, if you're in Europe and you have a real-time analysis on the Rolex price increases that are going into effect in your area, feel free to jump on the stream and or drop in a comment in the chat. If you've been following a particular watch and you have noticed the price increase, please let us know what it is in the chat. All right, let's get to I want to say 15 likes, but that may be a little ambitious. Do we have 10 likes yet? Guys, upvote the live stream. Let's get to 10 likes. Jeez, don't even have 10 likes. Let's get to 10. Come on, guys. We'll be going through this video, and I think you're going to find it extremely informative and entertaining. And we will be providing full analysis. So you guys can weigh in on whether you agree or disagree with Waco and this guy right here, whatever his name is. I want to tell you his name, but I just don't know what it is. So there you go. All right. Before we do that, let's see if there's any critical watch news other than the Rolex price increases that are going into effect overnight. That's right. Rolex price increases going into effect overnight. All right. Let's turn the closed captioning on. Boom. We'll start it from the beginning. By the way, there is a section in here where Waco and his colleague kind of go through a long analysis of watches and wonders about the releases and the different brands. And it's a massive like name dropping ego boost section of the video. And I think I'm just going to skip all that part. You know, I thought that it would be kind of fun to kind of count how many times Waco name drops an industry executive. We may still do that. If you're watching right now, Waco and his colleague drop a few industry names of some industry watch industry executives. I want you to guess right now in the chat how many names, how many times he does a name drop. Type it in the chat right now. Let's just a wild guess. Throw it out there. How many times does Waco name drop somebody in the industry? We'll wait for a few people to enter their guesses into the chat. And I'm going to start a poll, by the way. I'm going to start a poll. And the question in the poll is going to be, here it is. Starting a poll. The question is, state of the watch industry is ... booming, busting, how about this? Booming, neutral, or bust. Boom. How about that for a poll? Now, let's go through the video. Guys, like the live stream. The link to join the panel is pinned. U.S. tariffs, the hard truths facing the watch industry. Let's get to the video.
Away and said, "That's awesome.
Oh, that's a great fad.
Day from Revolution, and we're here to talk to you." What's going on, guys? Waco and Constant Kwong from Revolution.
Okay, Waco and Kasaquan, is that his name? Kasaquan?
What's going on, guys? Waco and Constant Kwong from Revolution, and we're here to talk.
Jeez, I didn't understand that. Kasakwan, what's his name? Is it Ken? I mean, the transcript says Guao. What's going on, guys? Guao and Ken Kwang from Revolution. That's not right. It's not. That isn't Guao and Ken Kwang. Incorrect. Incorrect transcribing. But I really would like to know.
Talk to you about the state of the watch industry and what a state it's in. It's gone through quite the emotional roller coaster ride.
That's right. Well, in a couple of months, everything just
A
up and
couple
down.
of weeks.
couple of weeks
Yeah,
now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about what we were.
Who is this guy? Who is this guy, and what is his role at Revolution? I would really like to know. Mr. G in the chat. Oh, see, I sent you some timestamps. Yeah, we're going to go through the thing. There's some really good content in here. You guys are really going to want to stick around for the analysis. It's going to be fun. Let's do this.
Our expectations were going into the 2025 watch year, right? We all know that 2024 was a tough year, and the expectation, I think, from the majority of the industry was that it was going to be equally tough this year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What are the reasons for this? I mean, what are some of the reasons for that concept?
I think one of the things is
It was an absolutely very tough year last year. A lot of brands were down, including Tudor, by the way. Tudor was the worst performing brand in 2024, down 35%. But they weren't the only ones. There, a lot of brands were down, including Blancpain and Breguet and a whole bunch of them. A lot of brands were down, including Hublot. I think Hublot was the second worst performing brand of all the major brands. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What are the reasons for this? I mean, what are some of the reasons for that concept?
I think one of the things is the recovery from the crash of the hype.
The crash. Remember the crash, guys? March, April of 2022. That's when the crash began. Some of the people on YouTube refused to call it a crash. They didn't think it was a crash, and they fought tooth and nail against our data, which was indisputable that we were in the middle of a crash, and they refused to accept it. And as a matter of fact, as the crash was in full swing, remember that there were certain YouTubers and dealers that insisted that it was time to buy the dip and that the prices were actually going back up in the summer of 2022. And you know what? They lied. They lied to your face, but we didn't believe them. And we knew all along that prices were continuing to go down. And here we are 37 months later, and the market is still dropping. 37th month of price declines in the watch industry. This is the crash.
Some of the reasons for that concept.
I think one of the things is the recovery from the crash of the hype watches. I think the crash started 2022. I think to end of 2021, 2022, it was the start of what they call the correction year, but it ended up going far worse than what we thought it would be. Far worse drop.
Sure.
Right.
And then you add to that political and economic uncertainty, and you have kind of like the perfect storm of shittiness, right?
That's right.
So the thing that we need to bear in mind also is that, especially in the United States, the growth in purchasing of watches has been incredible. So if you look at it in 2021, the United States was importing 2.1 billion Swiss francs worth of watches. By 2024, it was importing over 4 billion.
That's right, almost double. Yeah.
Right? More than double, because I think it's like 4.2, so or exactly double. So
that's a very, very important point. The U.S. market has had a voracious, if that's a word, voracious appetite for Swiss luxury timepieces. At the beginning of 2020, 2021, the US and China were the two biggest markets. Actually, China was even a little bit bigger. And now the United States is 50% bigger than the Chinese market. The US market has grown and grown and grown. And to Wei-Ko's point, do I call him Wei or Wei-Ko? Just Wei, maybe. We're good friends. We call him, is that his first name? Wei? Wei, according to Wei, good friend Wei, the value of watches purchased from U.S. consumers has doubled over the last 4 years. Hey, we got BW in the chat. What's up, BW? Good evening. Thank you, BW, for being a member. Cloud Ken is also a member. Thank you. Andy Lewis is a member. MD Chaz says there's a 50% chance someone in the industry is named Francois. I think that's more than a 50% chance. And Vimal's in the chat. Tariffs are just an excuse. The market has been in decline since March 2022. Correct. That is true. I predict we move to the next excuse by June of 2026. By the way, there is a poll running right now. The poll is the state of the watch industry is, and your choices are booming. Is the watch industry booming? Is it neutral or is it bust? Yeah, you know, bust means declining, obviously. So is it booming, neutral, or bust? You guys, please contribute and make your voices heard in the poll. And we got Ryan James in the chat. Okay, Constant Kwong. Now we got it. Ryan James is also a member. Vimal's a member. MD Chaz a member. Thank you guys. Constant Kwong. I got it. You're not trolling me, are you? That's his name? Constant Kwong. I'll try to remember that. Constant Kwong. Okay, so the U.S. appetite for watches is massive, absolutely massive.
So that growth from 2021 to 2024 has been absolutely astronomical.
That's right, yeah.
Now you have to bear in mind also that a lot of that is genuine growth in watch collecting and watch consumption, but there was also part of that was speculation, right?
That's right, yeah.
So you saw that there was a super overheated market in the what we call the hype years during the peak of COVID and the post-COVID era, which was, let's say, 21 to 22, right?
Yes. Well, it was really 20 to 21. A lot of people don't get these dates correct. A lot of people forget these dates. The peak of the market was March, the end of March 2022 or the beginning of April 2022. Yeah, the absolute growth period was starting COVID in 2020, all the way through, and then there was a massive spike starting in November, December of 21, and then that spike peaked March 22. You got to get these dates right, guys. I love how they just say like 20 or 21 or 22. Like the peak was March 2022.
That's right. 21 around end of 2020 to 2022.
Right, and then you
don't listen to him. It wasn't the end of 2022. It was the end of 2021, leading into 2022. April of 2022 was the absolute peak, and that's when the crash began.
So many people jumping onto the watch market because they were essentially speculating on watches.
That's right. It became like tangible, like assets. Everybody thought that
assets, guys. Watches are assets. Shout out to Britt Pierce. She was correct. She was right all along. Watches are assets.
Investment, right?
I remember at this point, everyone from like my dentist to like people that I would meet.
Wait a minute.
I remember at this point, everyone from like my dentist.
His dentist. Is that God, Wei has bad teeth. His dentist is wearing a sub.
To like people that I would meet in line at the bus stop. Yes, I take the bus
wearing freaking yellow boot.
That doesn't even look like a real watch.
Everyone was like, what should I buy next? Or what do you think is going to be the next watch for?
Yeah, also the media, the mass media, including the financial media, which transformed significantly from actual journalism into fucking puff pastry journalism during that time frame. And that includes Bloomberg, Forbes, Fortune, to some extent the New York Times, all of those financial news publications were all talking about Rolexes as investments and watches as investment grade assets. And that was a big driver of a lot of the hype in 2020 and 2021. By the way, we have CQ the Watch Guy in the chat. By the way, the link to join the panel. Anyone's welcome to join the panel. The link, I'll drop it right here. I'll even type these words, join the panel, so you know what this link means. Okay, got Ryan James. Thank you again, Ryan James, for Constant Kwong. Now I know the guy's name. CQ the Watch Guy in the chat. Eddie Mao, what's up, everyone? Got Buckley. Come on, Buckley. That's not nice. Hey, and the wrist chick is in the chat. Hi, guys. Wrist chick, I was, I'll say lucky. Sure, I was lucky. Lucky enough to spend 2 days with the wrist chick in New York City last weekend. I think it was, maybe it was a few days ago. I can't remember. Actually, it was just a few days ago. It seems like forever ago, doesn't it? But we spent 2 days together. She's terrific, super cool. And she's a hustler. Man, she's a hustler. She's going places, actually. She's going to go places because she works a lot harder than I do. She's all over social media. She's taking photos. She's meeting people. She's shaking hands, kissing the babies. Keep an eye out for Wrist Chick. Subscribe to her on YouTube. She dropped a pretty good video, by the way, about Watches and Wonders today, about what it means, what actually it takes to go to Geneva for Watches and Wonders. By the way, we're already making plans for Watches and Wonders 2026 and for Dubai 2025, November 2025. Reach out to me if you want to go to Dubai. CQ is going to be there. CQ's in our WhatsApp group, by the way, for Dubai. Got CQ, Luxury Souk, Chalk Flew Up, Air King Ben, the return of Air King Ben, November 18th, 2025. We're going to have a whole bunch of cool stuff coming your way in November. But yeah, we're continuing on with the analysis and continue to vote in the poll, guys, and then upvote the live stream while you're at it. Let's keep going.
It's going to soar.
Freaking yellow booty.
And everyone was like, what should I buy next? Or what do you think is going to be the next watch for it's going to soar in value? And then we saw the market values come back to reality, which actually is not necessarily a bad thing as well, because
I love how they say like it's not a bad thing. Come on. I mean, that's because we have no choice. We have no choice as collectors but to accept the fact that prices are going down. And we can try and spin it all we want. Like, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but when you see your collection drop 30% in value, newsflash, it's a bad thing. It's not a good thing. I mean, is it better that we that the flippers got flushed out of the market? Sure, that's a good thing. But let's not pretend like it was an incredible thing for us. It would be in a way, it would be nice if our watches were worth a lot more. But that's the way you have to rationalize it, I guess. Not a bad thing.
And then we saw the market values come back to reality, which actually is not necessarily a bad thing as well, because it took away a lot of the speculation for that market.
Right.
And that meant people who genuinely wanted to buy watches could finally have the opportunity for that.
Yeah.
But the first thing that happened in that situation was the brands that were the Me Too brands, right? The brands that were the third or fourth or fifth choice that benefited from the fact that no one could get their first or second or third choice during the hype years, suddenly were confronted by the fact that, shit, I guess
their watches were no longer desirable, that their watches were no longer needed. This is something that Buckley brings up a lot, which is the rising tide lifts all boats. And we knew at the time that the only reason people would ever buy, not the only reason, but the reason why Panerai and IWC and JLC and Breitling and Tudor, the only reason, not the only, okay, back up. One of the main reasons, or one of the contributing factors for why those watches were selling, was that people wanted to buy watches to increase their purchase history, increase their spend, because they wanted to get to Rolex. And they couldn't get Rolex, so they had to settle for those watches temporarily. But make no mistake, the game is over, guys. The game is over. No one is going to be buying Tudor anymore as a stepping stone to Rolex. Those days are over.
Not as popular as I thought I would be. Right?
Yeah, that's the unfortunate truth.
So anyway,
the unfortunate, it's not unfortunate, it's fortunate. Fortunate truth. Brands like JLC raised their prices on the Reverso by 40%. 40% over the last 4 years. And now the chickens have come home to roost. And the same with Tudor, raising the prices up into the $4,000-$5,000 range for a Tudor, when those watches are worth no more than about $2,000. The jig is up, according to Gen G. The jig is up. So there you go. It's not an unfortunate truth, it's a fortunate truth. Fortunate truth, you don't have to buy any of that garbage anymore.
The interesting thing is, like, rolling into this fair, everyone knew in the industry that they had to be bringing their A game. Now, the industry has many precedents for this before, right? Mm-hmm. And guys, this goes back.
It was time for the A game, and the only brands that brought their A game this year, so in my opinion, my humble opinion, and this is my channel, so I can say it, no one else is on the panel, so no one else is here to dispute it, which is fine with me. But the only two brands that delivered at Watches and Wonders, the only brands that delivered in terms of the new releases for 2025 were, repeat after me, Patek Philippe and the Crown Rolex. It's all about those two brands. Those two brands have pulled away from the competition. And when this year is over, you'll see how far they've pulled away from everybody else. Everybody else is left in the dust. Longa did nothing. Vacheron did nothing. Omega did nothing. Breitling not only did nothing, but they actually took a huge step backward. Their watches are awful. They released a top time that was just plain fucking ugly. So the brands needed to step it up. And you know what? Some of them didn't, but Rolex and Patek Philippe did. So, hey guys, we have 45 people watching. You are watching the best live stream in the world, the original OC channel. And it's the best live stream because you guys are the best audience. And if you want to jump onto the panel, you'll make it a really, really good panel. No one wants to hear me talk. And no one wants to hear me blabbing on and blabbity blabbity blah. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. But there is a section here for the next 6 or 7 minutes where they talk about all the releases for Watches and Wonders. And it gets a little laborious. I might skip it. Unless you guys really want to hear it. If you really want to hear it, type something in the chat like, hey, I really want to hear their analysis of the releases at Watches and Wonders and all the name dropping. Because believe me, they drop name after name after name. And it's oh hey Buckley, what's up?
Yeah.
How you doing?
What's going on?
Not too much. So the state of the watch industry.
It's fucked.
It's fucked. How did we get to this place? Fucked. I mean, it's fucked because we're forced to consolidate our collections down to bare bones. We're forced to, fine tune down to the things that we wear and not have a giant portfolio of watches available. And that's because the watches dropped in value.
Yeah. Watches being under retail has had a huge effect.
It's fucked. It's fucked us all, hasn't it? I mean, It really fucked us.
Yeah.
And I blame secondary dealers the most. People like CQ, who had a direct responsibility for protecting the collectors. They didn't. They kept selling way over retail. Daytonas for $45,000, Nautiluses for $150,000, Royal Oaks for $125,000. They knew what they were doing was wrong, but they couldn't stop themselves. They continued. Maybe not CQ directly, but I watched these people like okay, I'll drop a few names just to be controversial, like Timepiece Trading and Roman and a couple others who insisted that watches were safe investments, that you could buy Richard Mille, you could buy AP, you could buy Nautilus, Daytonas at the tippy top of the market. And they would always, Rolex never goes down. Rolex never goes down. Newsflash, it fucking did. And the Royal Oaks and the hot Rolex and the hot Nautiluses and the hot Richard Milles nosedived. And those people took a bath. And all of us are paying for that.
Yeah. If you bought a gray, you really got beat up.
Are you outside right now?
No.
inside?
No.
In the
I'm competing with you on the tan, though.
Nice. So let's
I'm
see.
trying to compete. You'll blow me away. You'll blow me away.
Looks good. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, you're winning.
Yeah. And by the way, we had CQ.
Oh,
He's gone. CQ, jump back. Come on. I was just kidding. I was just kidding, man.
Did you watch this video already, like in full?
I did watch it. So I know what's coming. I like to pretend that I didn't watch it, but did you?
No.
Okay, good. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Buckley gets bored easily. And because he's on the panel, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to skip through the next 7 minutes because it's a bunch of analysis about what happened at Watches and Wonders, the new releases, a lot of industry name dropping. And that's not necessary. It's a bunch of bullshit. I thought I scared you off, CQ. You're back. You're not to blame.
CQ,
check your microphone.
His volume
Mic settings. Check your microphone. We can't hear you. Check 1 2. Can you hear us? We can see you, but can't hear you. So work on that. DCNL. There we go.
All right.
Now we're talking. DCNLV member for 8 months.
Ooh,
Hello, all. If 20 to 22 never happened, the watch market would be considered stable. It was a false market.
True.
Man, I hate to think that it was a false market because that was the time that I got in. And if it weren't for that time, I wouldn't have been as successful in the hobby as I am. You know, all of us benefited from 2022. I hope we did.
In 10 years, 2022 will be, that period will be a good thing. Right now, it's a bad thing. But it did bring in so much more people into the industry. And I think that was a great, healthy thing for so many new enthusiasts, all these new content creators. Before 2020, Tim Marceau ruled, Archie ruled, a few others. 2023, it's like 1,500 people on YouTube doing watches, right? Which is amazing. I love that. Because when I started, it was only books and Time Zone and Rolex forums and things like that. But along with all that positivity, we got the flippers and all that stuff. And listen, it's hard to tell you no when you want to give me $60,000 for a Panda, right? I try once, OC, but on the second time, I just send you the wire info, right?
Yep. When I first got into the hobby, I've told this story before. I first got into the hobby. I went to an event, a dinner in New York City, and David was there. David of David SW.
Oh, dope.
And it was, I think, January or February. It was a while after I got in, but it was around January or February of 2022. And I asked him directly, I said, dude, these prices are insane. Daytona's going for over 40,000. He goes, OC, the Daytonas are now going for over 50,000. He goes, it's not good. But among us dealers, we're looking at each other going, this is unsustainable. There's no way these watches are worth what we're charging and what other dealers are buying them from us. And he knew, like, listen, he said, once the Daytona got over 50,000, it's over. He's like, that was like a signal to everybody, like, this is nuts. But I remember, by the way, at the beginning of 2022, there was a poll on the Rolex forums. And the poll was basically, what will the Daytona be at the end of 2022? And a lot of people were saying 75,000, and a lot of people were saying over 100,000. That's how crazy it was at that time. There was no concept of a drop. Everything was straight up.
Yeah, everybody was high.
And the people who were new to it had never experienced a drop. So we're just like, oh fuck, this is going to the moon. Buy. So
yeah, and I don't think I would be wrong to state that somebody out there in a drunken stupor probably paid in the 70s for a Panda. One person, I'm sure of it, because I remember in Dubai they were going for 60s, and I was just like, no, show me, this isn't real. And they would show me the text and everything, and I was just like going in the back. I remember like going to my apartment and looking out at the Burj Khalifa and just thinking, this is the Matrix. this has to be and I was okay with that. I was like, maybe I'm plugged in, I'm living in Dubai, but like, if you're paying me 60 grand for a Panda, you know, and I was trying to talk people down, like, don't buy this. You could buy everything else. But people wanted to buy. It was something, obviously, like, it was you couldn't talk sense into people. It was such a fever. Like, they didn't want to hear it from a guy like CQ who wants to show you all the weird, funky stuff. CQ, I want the Panda. Take my
Roger
money.
Dubuis.
Roger Dubuis. Why would I buy a Roger Dubuis sympathy that would actually end up being 60 grand and I could have probably got you into it for 19, 20, right? It's interesting in that period as well, because as much as you had all the Rolex AP Patek, it was the beginning of the independence, right? Because all of the, you know, if you're a little uber wealthy and you saw like everybody wearing a Rolex, you want to climb up a little bit more. Zuck's getting into it late. That's why he's going so hard. So then you saw things like a Roger Dubuis sympathy go from something you could have scraped up at 19-ish, right, to something that if you had now, I'd probably buy 40, 50,000. So it was a very, very interesting period. But when I tell you, there were so many times where just new people who just knew in the industry, the crypto money really was crazy. Because, like, you know, if I'm 19 and you give me $1 million, I'm just buying whatever they're talking about on YouTube. And that's what happened. And here we are today.
Yep. Ghost of Yiddish Gambino's in the chat. He's a member. Thank you. Mr. Fahrenheit's a member. He's here. John D. Hey, gents. Good evening to all. And Jonathan Smith. What's up, guys? Let's continue on. Let's not leave the audience bored. Let's get to some more action here. I've skipped ahead. So I've skipped all the industry name dropping. I've skipped all the analysis of the releases of Watches and Wonders, which, by the way, they're like, oh, the Vacheron was so incredible. It,
Oh, horse shit.
Do you want me to cover it, Buckley?
Buy one, Way. Buy one. What's on your wrist? The yellow gold Daytona.
All right. Maybe you've convinced me to go back and cover it because just for entertainment value. But actually, this is pretty kind of interesting because it goes into the history of how the watch market began. And I hadn't heard this, so it's a little bit of a history lesson. Like, where did the Swiss industry? How did it develop? Okay.
Everyone knew in the industry that they had to be bringing their A game. Now, the industry has many precedents for this before, right? Mm-hmm. And guys, this goes back to the roots of the Swiss watchmaking industry. Who are the people that started the industry? There are the Protestants from France that were expelled. They were the Huguenots, right? And these were people that were suppressed.
Is that the Huguenots or the Huguenots? Is that something different? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, what does this have to do with anything?
This is the history of the how the Swiss watch industry developed. It was basically the people from France who were expelled. They went to Switzerland and they became watchmakers.
Suppressed and abused for hundreds of years. And finally, there was a thing called the Edict of Fontainebleau, where the French king at the time said it's basically legal for you to basically kill Protestants if you want. This led to the Protestants leaving en masse. These guys were so hardcore that they marched over the Alps and they settled into the parts of Switzerland that are the most unhospitable. Why? Because all the good parts were taken already.
That's right. Wow.
Right. So during the summertime, they would farm, and during the winter time, what would they do?
Well, make watches.
Okay, so this brings me to a really important point. Everyone says, and then this cottage industry emerged in Switzerland. It didn't magically emerge. It's not like these guys woke up one day knowing how to make watches. The Huguenots, or the French Protestants, were the main workforce of the French watch industry. And they already knew how to make watches, and they took this skill set with them as they marched over the Alps and settled in Le Sentier or Fleurier. And of course, they knew how to make watches. And in so doing, they started to create first a cottage industry and then the entire industry. Okay, all this is to say that when times are tough, the Swiss watch industry is the most resilient and the most determined.
So so all that to make his point that basically, like, don't ever count out the Swiss watch industry because they're very resilient people, and they started the industry from nothing. They came from France. They developed it, and they've gone through the quartz crisis. They've gone through many different things, recessions before, and they always find a way to come out of it ahead.
So this was beautifully expressed by watches that we saw at Watches and Wonders 2025.
That's right.
So Constant, let's talk about some of those watches. But maybe
Constant Kwong. I learned his name. CQ. Constant Kwong.
That's a cool name.
Yep.
What we should talk about first is that the reason the watches were so good was that all of the right managers are in place at the brands, meaning the leadership at these brands now is...
Okay, now he goes into at least 5 minutes of saying, like, the reason why the watches were so incredible is because they're of the incredible leadership. And he drops name after name after name. And I'm not gonna I'm not gonna put you guys through that. So I'm gonna bypass all of that stuff.
Now,
CQ, I'm gonna put you on mute for the background noise.
Music. Everyone should know. When I first started following Waco, I did a deep dive on his Instagram. Went back far.
Mm-hmm.
This guy fucking hates Trump.
Okay.
Hate. Like, you want to talk about hate? This guy in Revolution, they do not like Trump. So I don't know what he's going to say in this video. He may not do any of that, which is fine. I'm just saying everyone should know that Waco is not a Trump fan.
He may not be a Trump fan, but you'll be surprised, Buckley. None of that comes out in this video. There's
I'm sure it won't. He's
zero.
No, he's pretty professional with what he does on YouTube. So I'm just saying I don't know if we're gonna go there, but I know that he is not a Trump fan. Based
on the content of this video, there's probably zero, a smidge, close to zero politics. It's all above board. So let's keep going. But thanks for the comment. Makes sense. Here we go.
Going to give the customer what they want. They want smaller sizes. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to stop with
great choice. Yeah.
A2 of Watches and Wonders. I think Constant and I would have walked away and said, "That's awesome."
But that's a great fair.
That was a great fair.
Yeah.
We woke up to day 3, and the big news was the Liberation Day tariffs.
That's right.
So these are the tariffs that have been imposed by the American President Trump on the import of Swiss watches to the United States. Now, the initial import duty was 31%, right? Which has now been put on pause for, I guess, 90 days. And now there's just a 10% tariff applied. But let's think about it if it actually is 31% and what that actually means to the business of the Swiss watch industry for the United States. Now, we mentioned earlier that in 2024 that the United States is at over 4 billion Swiss francs in terms of imports. That's an important figure because if the total figure for Swiss watch imports to the whole world is around 25 billion.
26 billion, 25.9, yeah.
Right, at 25.9 billion, then at 4% is a massive amount of that, right?
Massive.
And actually, that just goes to show you how incredibly important the United States is as a tastemaker and also as a consumer for watches, right? But the problem now is let's just say right now, if the duty lands somewhere between 10%, which it is now, and 31%. Let's just pick an arbitrary target. 20. Let's just say it's 20.
By the way, I don't agree with picking an arbitrary number of 20% because right now the tariffs are 10%, and there's no indication that they're going to go above that. They may actually go down. You never know. So, I mean, I understand what they're doing. They're picking a number, but I just think they're picking a number that's very high. But let's just go with their scenario. By the way, if you want to jump in and make a comment, just say pause. I'll hit pause.
8%, right? How does that affect the consumer spending in the United States on watches? It affects it a lot, right? Because you have now in most states in America, you have irrecoverable state tax. Irrecoverable meaning that even if you're a tourist and you come in and you pay the tax, you don't get it back as VAT on the way back out.
Nope.
So let's say in the United States that is, let's say in New York State, that's just under 9%.
Like 10%.
Listen, we have sales tax regardless. So I'm not sure why they're bringing up sales tax. We have sales tax now in the United States on a state by state, municipal by municipal basis. And that doesn't really change. So what if it's 7% for somebody, 0 for other people, 9% for others? I don't see how the tariffs impact that at all. Any disagreement?
No.
Let's just make
let's just say it's 10%. So you add an additional 20% to it. Now you're talking about.
So what they're used to is the idea that you buy a watch at a certain price, and depending on your jurisdiction, you actually get the VAT back, the tax back. You know, some of these countries are spoiled in the sense that their prices that they pay for watches are a lot lower than what we pay in the United States. So he's saying that, in the United States we have sales tax, which we do. We don't, and we have to pay it. And other places they don't have that, or when you buy it from one country and it has tax included, you actually get the tax reduced out of it.
30% premium for the watches. That's really, really tough, right? So the question is, if there is a 30%, or let's just say there's a 20% tariff on watches, how do brands deal with this? Well, one thing that was expressed was, maybe all the brands will just raise their prices 20% around the world to match it. I think people would be super
Look at the look on Constance's face when that happens.
Will just raise their prices 20% around the world to match it.
The prospect of paying 20% more for watches not something that he's happy about.
That's a good meme right
All
there.
the brands will just raise their prices 20% around the world to match it. I think people would be super pissed if you did that, right? You're basically saying you're making me pay for a situation that I have nothing to do with, and is related only to the United States.
That's right.
And don't forget that one of the big criticisms of the Swiss watch industry are these constant price hikes as well. To the point where certain watch brands have almost priced themselves out of the market.
That's right.
So I think that
a lot of them have priced themselves out of the market.
I would say the majority.
Yeah.
Good point.
The majority of brands have priced themselves totally out of the market.
If you take discounting, if there is no discounting out there, the majority of watch brands are overpriced.
Yeah. And the other thing that brands like Rolex do methodically is keep prices consistent across the entire world. So they have a whole team in their finance department that adjusts prices for each country to make sure that the prices are the same everywhere, because they don't want Japan being 20% cheaper than the United States. They don't want any kind of unfairness to their dealer network. So if prices in the US are going up, you know what? They're probably going to raise them everywhere.
I don't think so, because it's happened in the past where there was crazy, like when Paddock reduced their prices, I think it was 2015 or so. Some countries got the increase, some countries got a decrease. So I don't think, because you can't raise it by 20%. It will, certain brands could do it, like Rolex could do it, but nobody else could do 20% global raise and still sell units. It wouldn't work.
Which is why probably Rolex is thinking about how much to pass on to the dealers and how much the dealers will pass on in terms of new prices to the customers. So that's a very careful formula. And that's probably why they're starting off with only an average of 3%. By the way, if you're in Europe right now and the price increases have gone into effect and you've been tracking certain watches, jump on the stream and let us know what it means for the watch that you have been tracking as price increases go into effect now, overnight, for everybody. By the way, Chalk flew up, who is coming, CQ, to Dubai with us.
Oh, nice.
Member for 8 months, campaign senior advisor level, which is like the $300 a month level. Incredible. Evening colonist. Thank you for being here, Chalk flew up. I'm going to play tennis with Chalk flew up. He's staying at one of these massive Siddiqui resorts. That's like a 6-star, one of those 6-star resorts. Have you, I won't give the name. I'll type it in the private chat.
Well, there's only one, I believe, 6-star.
Just hold on a second.
But one thing that people should note as well, and what you got to keep an eye on, is them shaving off margin, dealer margin. Rolex is doing it. I think other brands will do it as well. I know Breitling is doing it too. Where not only are they're increasing pricing, but they're also decreasing the margin a dealer has. So that's their way of saying that the dealer has to kick in a little bit as well. The question is, will they give that margin back? Because there once upon a time was the once was a world where Rolex margin was closer to 50% than where it is now. You know, there was a world like in the 70s or whatever, but just over time, because people kept discounting and things like that, margins just turned into what they were. But there was a way bigger gap in decades before.
CQ, I'm not sure if they don't put a gun to the dealer's head, to the retailer's head, and say you have to spend $1 million renovating your store. But imagine what the conversation is like after you just spent $1 million or $2 million on a renovation, and then they say, "Oh, by the way, yeah, instead of 34%, your margin is going to be 33%."
Well, wait, what? There's no conversation. There's an email. What are you talking about?
It's just an email that says, by the way, the price that you used to pay for that $10,000 watch used to be $6,700 or $6,600, and now it's going to be a lot more because the price on that watch is going to go from $10,000 to $10,300, and your margin is going to drop. So you're going to end up paying $6,900 when you used to be paying, $6,600 for that watch.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. There's no conversation. These are emails. Even for the smaller brands just to email it, hey, this is what's going on. There's no, especially Rolex, there's no like, you just go, you cry in the back room for a second and then you just move on with life. It is what it is.
Yep. All right, let's keep going.
That's probably not a tenable response. So then the question is, okay, if the 20% is applied only to the United States, then how will I distribute that? Am I going to make the customer pay 20% more? Probably not. So then the other option is, okay, well, you have only three options. Either the customer has to pay for it, the retailer/distributor has to pay for it, or you as a brand has to pay for it. And probably the solution will be a combination of the three.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So it rolls a little bit like maybe 5% here, 6% there, and then everybody splits the.
If everyone takes 7%, then okay, then
basically everything just get more expensive. That's
yeah. Everything just gets more fucking expensive. Shout out to Constant Quan with the succinct analysis.
He knows.
But he splits the. I'm sure. So it rolls a little bit like maybe 5% here, 6% there, and then everybody splits the.
If everyone takes 7%, then okay, then
basically everything just get more expensive. That's pretty much.
Yeah,
it.
but you have another problem, Constant. You have a massive issue with the depreciation of the U.S. dollar relative to the Swiss franc.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, this is an important point too, because it's not just tariffs, but it's also the value of the U.S. dollar versus the franc, which again is something that these guys, the companies, the Swiss watch industry monitors like a hawk to make sure that the not only from a profitability perspective and margin perspective, but also they look across exchange rates across the entire world to make sure that there's no one currency that is getting an advantage. So the watches are way cheaper in one market versus another market, or super expensive in one market versus another market. So the value, and specifically the value of the US dollar to the Swiss franc, is critical in that.
And let's talk about that too. Okay, I'm not a currency expert, but from what I understand, the US currency had always been a safe haven. It was always the world's reserve currency. So when times were tough, times were good, times were whatever, the US currency was always extremely stable because the US government was the one that had set the monetary policy after the Second World War with the Bretton Woods Act, right? To create a...
Dropping a little history lesson here. Shout out to the Bretton Woods Act.
Intelligent and rational exchange of currencies around the world. But the problem is the United States, and I'm not political in one way or the other, right? It's just the whole idea is it's acting in a slightly irrational way right now. And as a result, you have a flight from the US dollar to other reserve currencies. And what's the other major reserve currency in the world? Well, it's not going to be renminbi, right? Although maybe it should be.
Renminbi.
Right? But it's Swiss francs, right? Because Switzerland is always neutral,
Yes,
right? So it's considered to be the most stable currency outside of the US dollar. Now, this unfortunately impacts exactly the watch market in the USA, because if Swiss watches become more expensive because of an escalation in the Swiss franc's value and a depreciation in the US dollar's value, this only makes things more expensive. And incidentally, the Swiss franc now is at a 10-year high relative to the US dollar.
Ouch. Ouch. So in other words, they're going to be looking to our market for disproportionately large price increases.
Yeah, that's the one thing you can't really get out of is the currency situation. You know, maybe the tariffs, I think, figures, who knows, but like, who knows when that currency comes back, and that is something like, you know,
there's going to be a way out of it for us rich folk, and you know what that is?
What was that?
For us rich folk, like you and me and Buckley, we don't have to buy. Maybe we don't have to buy our watches here.
Oh well, of course. I mean the U.S. market, right?
For everybody else who's stuck here and has to buy from U.S. retailers, that's their problem.
Yeah, that's their issue. And listen, you know, feel free to reach out to cqthewatchguy.com if you need help, you know, in logistics and, you know, acquiring watches abroad. But yeah, the domestic market for watches, they don't even know what's coming. Because why would you? Why would you? Why would you buy in the US when you could wait until Dubai Watch Week, get a discount, get your VAT back? You could do it when you go to Europe. You could do it when you go to maybe Vegas or something and you're gambling. Like now you got to really, really want to spend with that AD. Now is when you go to this is when our brother Boston Collector goes to his ADs and say, what are you baking for me? When is my muffin coming? When is my blueberry pie coming in?
Blueberry scones.
The scones and stuff as well.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy. This is gonna be a wild 2025. That's for sure.
Yep. So here we go.
So
As of today, 1.6.
now it's at a 10-year high
Freaking-
relative to the US dollar. So
As of today, 1.6.
yeah, so
compared to
even if
Singapore.
we end up with a 20% price hike on the tariffs, right? You still have to add potentially
Oh my
another
God.
5% on top of that because of the fluctuation in currency, and we're not necessarily sure if things are going to switch back out anytime soon. So that's another.
And if they do, you think they're going to lower prices?
No,
They never lower prices.
not if they sell everything.
Isn't that a shame that like like if all watch people were of the same mind, prices go up, nobody buys, then they'll we'll play chicken for a little bit, prices go down. But in the current market that we're in, Rolex goes up 20%, people are still buying. I think a Rolex could probably go up by 40%.
I don't think so.
I think, well, maybe not Rolex, you're right. But there are other brands that it's like they could go up and they're not going to feel it. They're really not going to feel it. And it's a shame because I don't know who comes back down, and some poor, I don't know the right word, but somebody who's not full of sense with a smaller brand is going to hike it up too much. And then that brand will just be eviscerated in 10 years. This is a minefield that a lot of, even just a simple tariff email communication. And when the 31% came out and certain brands sent out the emails a little bit too soon, and now the negative energy's out there. So I think, I don't know.
Diego M is in the chat with kind of a interesting question, but it sparks a hypothetical that I want to bring up to you, CQ, because this has been a interesting discussion that we've been having behind the scenes recently. Let's say, hypothetical, I just pick up a brand new 5712 at retail. And I'm the kind of guy that, you know what? I don't like to hold on to my watches that long. As a matter of fact, I don't even like to wear them at all. But right out of the dealership, this thing's brand spanking new and unworn. And it's like, you know what? Time for me to cash in. It's time to cash in. So I call my good friend CQ. He's a very trustworthy guy, and he knows what the market price is. Let's say the watch was 50,000, whatever it was, right? 50,000 new, but you know that they sell for 125 in the market, new and unworn. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, question is, I'm going to come to you and say, yo, hey, CQ, I know the 5712. I see them all over for 125,000. I'd like to sell you the watch so you can sell it to somebody else and do very, very well. And you come back to me and say, hey, OC, yeah, great, thanks. I'm looking forward to doing business with you. I'd like to buy your watch for 105,000. And I go, whoa, whoa. What do you mean 105? So these are selling for 125. And you're like, hey, OC, like, I love you, brother. But said, I gotta inspect the watch. I gotta take photos. I gotta market the thing. I gotta open it up to make sure it's authentic. Yes, I got overhead. I got a store on whatever that street is. The expensive street. I got people. I got health insurance, all that stuff. So it's like, listen. So it's like those are the prices I can get it at. So it's 105 or nothing. And I say, like, don't you have any like wiggle room, my friend, my good pal? CQ's like you're going to list this at 125 because I've seen you list other ones that are brand new, unworn for 120, 125. And you're like, yeah, but I don't have no idea these are going to sell or not. And I was like, hey, I'm taking all the risk here. So
just true.
So like, how do you navigate that conversation in the real world? I mean, so I guess you gave you a real world scenario. Like, how do you determine whether or not the price is the gap between the buy price and the sell price, whether that's 5,000? Like, because in my mind, it's like, hey, I'm doing CQ a solid here. I'm giving him a watch that he's going to be able to sell pretty quickly. If he makes 5,000, sounds pretty damn good to me, right?
Yeah.
Very little work. And then you're like, hey, listen, OC, this guy's making 50,000 on the watch. Why is he so fucking greedy? I'm only going to be making 20. So like, yeah, let's talk about that.
It really becomes a very individual thing, right? So every dealer who gets a call from every different person is going to be different. Me helping Diego out, of course, I can work my best to find the best price and only make $1,000. That's a friend. Yeah, I probably, even under 1,000, I'm I'm bootstrapping, so I got to take the 1,000. I got to make some money. But if life was good, maybe only 500. I charge Diego for a deal like that. If somebody who I don't know, I've never done business with, just saw me on Instagram or something and reached out and had a paddock and they wanted to sell, then the conversation's a little bit different. I got to make a little bit more. I personally aren't the person. If it sells retail at 125, let's say wholesale value is at like 115, 118, something like that, I'm not going to tell you 105. If wholesale is 118, I'll probably tell you 115, 116. Hey, I'm making 2,500, 3,000. But I am a much different person, right? I invest in my relationship with my collectors. I deal with people, the only reason I'm able to survive right now, literally, is on people who I've done business with 6-7 years ago, right? So I care about that. Now, there are other people who would get a call from a fresh lead, somebody, hey, I just got the 57, blah, blah, blah. I paid 50 something for it. And I'd be like, somebody, not me, would be like, hey, I'll give you 90 for it. I'll give you 95. And then start to fight with you. Hey, brother, you're getting 45,000 right now. What do you do? You're seeing all this on Chrome 24, blah, blah, blah. And then go into this mental thing. And if they're a naive person, is the first person that they call, they've never sold a watch before, then you make a lick, So that happens every day. And it's really just a personal decision. I can't tell you here, like, this is how it goes everywhere. Cause like some people make licks and some people are happy with just, doing you a solid, making a little bit, how much I made, and you just kind of work that way. Some people will screw people over. And then a month later, they're like, man, why did you do me that? And they just hang up the phone on them. So I always say I have a very unique name. So I can't afford to do deals like that because I'm not changing my name. I'm going to stick around for a while.
CQthewatchguy.com. Tell him OC sent you. If you're a friend of OC, a legitimate friend, what I'll do is I'll ask CQ to reach out to me, verify who you are, and then if you actually are a friend of the channel, a member of the colony, then CQ will be good to you. But don't reach out to him and drop my name or drop Buckley's name and expect incredible for him to move heaven and earth for you. Just doesn't work that way. But listen, he's going to do us a solid. So if you say you want that dream 5990, CQthewatchguy.com. Tell him OC sent you. Buckley, any comments?
I don't understand why Rolex has to increase prices at all.
They don't have to.
It's not like they don't sell everything. It's not like they can't squeeze here and there. And it's not like they're already not making a tremendous, tremendous margin. I think if other brands who are weaker have to increase prices, the smartest thing for them to do would be not to decimate everybody else. If you can hold and keep your price while others have to go up, if an Omega Seamaster is $8,000 and a sub is still no dates 9,500, no one's ever buying that Omega.
Let me ask you, you guys, this. Isn't it a little bit counterintuitive for Rolex to be punishing their U.S. retailers by reducing their margin right now?
Yeah,
why would they do that?
They have to do anything. I don't see. I don't get it.
That's a part I didn't understand too much because it's like, why do that squeeze? Nobody was going to discount Rolex, right? I think other brands are going to do that to prevent further discount and to compensate for the retail price increase. But to take my margin that's already only 35, which sounds like a lot, but like after you pay a CQ the watch guy, you put the 34. After you pay CQ the watch guy, the lights, the building, the $1 million build out they want you to do, and all the lights and all that, and God forbid somebody scratches the case, let's not even talk about it, right? And then I'm only making 34, and then now it's 31, and then I gotta kind of hope and pray that you.
What's to stop them 15 years from now from dropping it down to 25%?
Nothing.
Nothing. You're at their mercy, and you're spending.
Yeah, we'll see. This could be a way for them to really fuck over a lot of their dealers and turn them into Bucher-owned spots.
If they want, I would need to hear somebody from Rolex really tell me that's their strategy, because you don't need to, right? I think if you approach somebody and give them the Chick-fil-A type situation where it's like, hey, we own everything. You operate it, but we own everything. I think people will line up to do that with Rolex. So I think you're right. I think in 15, 20, 40 years, slowly it might just turn into be like, hey, listen, having our brand is enough of a marketing for you. You're just going to make this thing a year. We're going to control everything, but you're going to make so much, which honestly you do, right? Because it would bring in, you'd sell so much engagement, all these other things. So it's something where if that is something they wanted to do, they could get it easily done. And only a few of the big OG family jewelers would like really be like, yo, we helped you guys, blah, 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 blah. But all the small guys would say, oh, please, okay, whatever. Are you going to stay? I'm going to 10-year contract.
Isn't this why some retailers and some of the big ones that kind of try to make markets push, I'm not going to say garbage brands, but other brands, because they're getting Girard-Perregaux with 50% margins and they're only making 33% on Rolex. So it makes, just from a profitability perspective, selling a $20,000 Girard-Perregaux makes them twice as much money as selling the same Rolex at the same price.
Well, you know, I'd always say there are very few restaurants that don't specialize in one meal that don't want to sell the other things that are on their menu, right? So yes, you're right. There are bigger margins, but I'm still going to discount the Girard-Perregaux. I'm still going to, that bigger margin I have is being used for discount. So the end result that I'm getting is probably even less than the 34%. You know, if I'm selling a, depending, you know, where I'm at and things like that. So it's not as much as you want. But the flip side is I can order as many Girard-Perregaux as I want. I can order as many IWCs as want. If somebody from the Philadelphia Eagles want to buy 200 IWC special editions for their team or whatever, I can make that happen. With Rolex, you can't. So that's the difference. It's not the margin, but the fact that like I can really print money where Rolex can say, hey, no more Daytonas for you, OC. You didn't shake my hand the right way. See you next year, you know? And you got to take it.
Guys, we need 50 votes in the poll. The poll is almost done. State of the watch industry is booming, neutral, or bust. We need 2 more votes. If you're just joining, refresh the chat. Make sure you can see the poll. When we get to 50 votes, we will close the poll. So if you haven't voted, quickly vote. Let's get to 50 votes, and then we can move on and close it. And let's continue on.
Another big problem. Now, I guess one of the perspectives that we had also is, or one of the perspectives that was shared with us by Eric Koo, who is a secondary dealer and a very famous one in the United States, is the primary brands can always figure this out because they have enough margin where they can try to absorb it or, I don't know, redistribute it, for lack of a better term. And we have one very good example of that, which is an example that we admire a lot.
I'm curious, what is this example?
It's not from a Swiss brand, but it's from a German brand called Nomos Glashütte. And Nomos Glashütte went on record saying, even though at the moment when the Liberation Day tariffs came out, they were given a 20% tariff in Germany, they said, we will absorb it completely ourselves. You remember? Martina Etty looked me straight in the eyes and said, we will never pass it on to the customer. How can we create a brand that is all about value and then we increase the prices to them by 20%? That's not correct. That's not ethical.
It's a PR stunt. I mean, come on.
But it's the easiest low-hanging fruit that you should do, right? A brand like Nomos, when's the last time you talked about Nomos? So if I was them too, it's like, hey, I'm going to pay you to take my watch. So screw a tariff. I'm going to give you a positive on it.
Yeah.
I'll give you a date.
No, but I mean, you can't fault them. Like if they're going to do that, great.
Because again, why raise, if I'm selling Nomos, I'm not raising my price 20%. You're going to kill my business. It was just kind of putting along anyways. Like
even Rolex, you can't do it. I mean, you increase the price. You're talking about, what's the shitter? You're talking about
Air King
Cookie Monster being over 60 grand.
So remember, we at least when I jumped on the podcast, we were talking about people spending 55, 60,000 for a Daytona. Smart people, intelligent people, Ivy League educated doctors, athletes, lawyers, finance guys, the smartest guys in the room, and me, just the island guy. You know, I love, you know, from the beach. And I'm telling them, do not do it. And Buckley, they couldn't send the wires fast enough, bro. That's all I'll say. I hope you're right, but I'm just saying, could not.
Yeah, but that's because you have to think that starts at retail though. So there's no excitement at retail. Once a watch is in the case at retail, nobody wants it because you can have it. So you're going to have sky dwellers and subs that are $65,000 in the case, and no one's going to buy them because they used to be in 2021 they were 35. That's how crazy this is.
You might have a point. You might have a point.
So no one's going to people. The whole reason the market is up is because of flippers and people that invested into watches. So they can try this, but I don't think people are going to buy this shit. Sure, the Daytona list will get harder, but will the full precious metal Daytona list get harder? No. You might start getting text messages that they have them available. No one's going to spend money on this shit.
Yeah, I agree. This is bad. This is a bad look for Rolex to be increasing prices now. Just they could have waited a little bit. There's no rush. Well, the price of gold and the price of the. I mean, it's like
I hate the gold argument because you know that like if us three had a business together in the jewelry industry, right, and we were doing really well, like so well that for like the past 20 or 30 years we couldn't find a negative spot. And our primary material, we make our metal, we make our gold, we make our steel. Wouldn't we have hoarded so much gold, as much gold as we can? Like we know that gold is gonna go up. Like I can't believe that. Like gold is spiking now. I can't believe that affects Rolex that much. Like
I don't think it affects them at all. I think this is all horseshit because they're doing it because they can get away with it. But there is going to come a point where even they can't get away with it. Nobody's spending 60 grand on a white gold Submariner. Nobody's spending close to 70 grand on a rose gold Sky Dweller. Nobody's doing that. They're going to sit in the case. It's all coming back to the case. You might even have a black sub in the case because is the gray market going to increase their price and their buy price?
See, no. But this is the thing that annoys me about what they're doing. What they had in place, even as recently as the beginning of this year, was the model where they could have the exhibition models out for viewing and for trying on and for salivating over and registering your interest, but everything was still in the back, and they continued this illusion of artificial scarcity. Oh, even if you want a sub or a Kermit or something simple or Air King or Sea Dweller. You still had this notion that, you know what, these are still difficult to get, and you put in your interest, and if they liked you, they called you a couple weeks later, and you're like, holy shit, really? I got it so fast, 2 or 3 weeks, and you felt like a fucking king, and you felt super special, right? Yeah. And now they're blowing it. They're going to blow it all by you walk in there and you see the fucking Cookie Monster there, and you see a whole bunch of Datejust, you see a bunch of smooth bezel shit. Why are they doing this? Why are they? They're killing the I don't know what the phrase is, like they're killing the goose that laid the golden egg or whatever.
Buckley, they don't tell you what's available. I think it's company policy. They just won't tell you. Watches of Switzerland, you go in there. If you have someone who works there, they will walk you around and go, this case all available. You want to take it today? That's not
a good look. You know, they were handed artificial scarcity on a silver fucking platter. We don't have any watches.
That's a good point.
And they want to go back to having watches in the case that look like they're just sitting there.
The problem here's the thing. White gold sub goes up to 60 grand. White gold Daytona goes up to 60 grand. Are you guys going to increase your buy price?
No.
Okay, then this is going to be a huge failure because the only way this works is if people can move this shit onto the gray market without taking a haircut or a major haircut. No one's taking a 30% haircut on a $60,000 Rolex. No one's.
The funny thing though, the grays will not increase their buy price, but they will use the new retail price to justify their new market price.
Oh, for sure,
right?
For sure.
So.
Yeah, so good luck with that. No one's going to fall into that trap unless you're an idiot. I mean,
you're right, though. See, the dealers did have, ADs, they had this scarcity handed to them on a silver platter, but at some point, they were making those calls. You know, hey, guess what? We just got a Wimbledon. This is a big deal. And they called 10 people, and they were all just like, I'm good. I'll pass. And that happens enough times, and you start getting stuff in the windows. Like, no one wants this shit. No one wants the Explorer 40. We're just gonna have to start selling it to whoever walks.
But shouldn't that be like an indication? Like, if the Cookie Monster isn't selling, then you know what? You don't raise the price on the Cookie Monster. You don't put it in the case and make it look like a dog.
It's not Rolex's
They're already
problem.
doing it.
It's the authorized dealer's problem. And these authorized dealers, they'll take a bunch of jabs to stay with Rolex. You know, they're getting black eyes and they're getting bloody lips during this market for sure. But they're willing to stick it out.
They're going to stick it out.
Long term.
Sell the watch. That's the other thing you guys got to remember. These people have forgotten how to sell a watch. This is what you give me your cold cut order. I'll go in the back and get it.
Yeah.
Now you have to work. Like, there's going to be a full yellow gold champagne Jubilee Sky Dweller, and a guy's going to walk in and he's going to see it, and you're going to have to work to move that watch. And you know what's probably going to happen? He's going to pull out his phone. He's going to say, "Let me think about it." He's going to pull out his phone and he's going to say, "You want 60 grand? I can get it for 48." And what are they going to? After you do that 100 times across 6 months, and the watch is not moving, they're not going to discount it. They're going to have to.
That's the next step, is discounting.
Wow.
But you know what? We've talked about it. I don't know the expression. The canary in the coal mine is when you see a Submariner sitting in the window for sale, or you start seeing discounts. That's when it's over.
Let's answer this really quick. You guys are fussing about Rolex. AP is 35% more than Rolex. You tell me AP is worth more than Rolex? Absolutely not. And I think they're going to get, if AP increases their prices 10%.
Oh, could you imagine?
Fucking annihilated.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
They're going to be left out. They're already not moving codes in offshores.
You would have 6-figure offshores, or very close to. For
with the ceramic. Oh, and that's such a, think about that statement. It doesn't make sense, man. Like, it feels like I've been in the industry for 30 years, the way the prices are, and like it's 10 years. Well, there's 14 for me, but like 10 years around this time is when I first start selling like APs and stuff pre-owned. And like, it's just like, what's going on? Like, the pricing is just insane. So you're right. 10% would be like, that would be the thing that just ended it all. You know,
I think if Boston Collector were on the panel, he would say, you know what, AP could raise their prices 25% and still have no problem selling every single watch. And you guys don't understand because you're the wrong kind of customer. And AP has no problem finding customers who would spend easily $40,000 on a steel watch. If Patek can do it with a Cubitus, AP can do it because AP is better.
Nope, not these days. I don't think you'd hear Boston say that, because we all know Boston's getting frustrated. If you increase the prices 10% and the dealer in CQ does not increase his because he's already not moving Royal Oaks the way he was, you realize that you meet retail, which means if you get it at retail, you lose money. That hasn't happened in 8 years. 8 years, no, you have not lost a cent on a Royal Oak. The second you lose money on a Royal Oak, the second you lose money on a black sub unworn, it's fucking over.
You're already almost losing money on a black sub right now.
You know, not yet. It's close. It's been close.
Cloud Ken, member of the channel, says, by the way, remember that the ADs also have the opportunity to bundle and go. Remember the concept back in the day of what they called selling out the back door, which was, please mute. Thank you. Selling out the back door, which was chopping carrots. Selling out the back door, which means bundling. So like taking the hard to sell watches, bundling them with the Daytonas and the GMTs and whatever, and that makes it even harder for customers to buy because more of the hot pieces go to the gray.
Oh yeah, they will bundle. They will bundle with people out the back. They would never bundle with
they don't want to bundle with actual customers, because but they'll bundle to the grays.
Yes, it would.
If you open
people that bundle.
if
Yes, they
if
would.
if it becomes well known that you can walk in and get a Panda Daytona same day, as so long as you do XYZ, you're gonna have 1,000 people walking in wanting to do XYZ.
Hold 1 second. Hold 1 second.
You know what I mean? Like, it can't be well known that we're bundling. They might do it with the customer, right?
No, it
But
can't be well known. But the thing
they're
is,
not.
these brands are surrounded by yes men, right? And they're thinking that we're just selling everything because we're awesome. You're not. You're not selling everything because you're awesome. You're not.
Oh yeah, a lot of these brands.
A lot of them think that, and it's not true. And the prices are getting ridiculous. I mean, if they do what Wei is saying, what it sounds like is the customer will wind up paying 10% more in the US, all said and done. You're putting watches that just went up in price to a ridiculous number. Anything white gold is going to be 60 grand out the door. Who's fucking paying that?
Somebody will.
So, an idiot will, but that idiot, as soon as he figures out that he can't move the watch for more than 40 or 35, he's going to be like, what the fuck? And that's gonna track, because all the people who know, a lot of people know how to navigate this shit way more than you think, and they're not going to do it anymore. They have the watches. We have the watches.
In previous years, they had the benefit of return customers, right? So somebody bought a seed dweller, that wasn't the worst buy in the world, so they returned for a date, just not the worst thing. And this continues on. Now you're going to have people, their first purchase, and if they're trying to flip it to get something better, they're immediately going to see that this game is not worth playing, and that's a one-time customer. They're going to have a lot of one-time customers. I think there will always be new customers, but there will be far less repeat customers.
I agree with that statement very much. I think what will happen is, as if prices go up, savvy people will retract, but then there'll be a big rush of vanguard of all those people who are waiting to get things at retail, who finally get the call, will say yes, and then that'll die out, and then we'll see what happens. But I think you guys are so accurate that discounting is really coming back. And I think even AP or Rolex, you're going to have to discount now to sell it, or you're going to have to bundle it with something. You're going to have to give me something at zero, or like you're going to have to give me something and price it out however you price it out on the receipt. I don't care, to make me get the watch. You're going to have to give me something for my son, give me something for my wife or my whatever, for me to buy the Sky Dweller in the 70s or something like that. I think you're right. I think some ADs will be savvy, but it's going to be rough.
The problem with discounting Rolex, you've immediately surrendered, and you're no longer going to sell any of the Journey brands like Breitlings. People are going to stop buying Breitlings, Tudors, Omegas.
Oh no, you just discount those more. You just discount those more.
Ooh.
No, but we're going back.
But like OC said, those are the brands where they make the most margin, right?
Yeah, but again, as I said,
if they're essentially giving these Rolexes away, you just lost an entire customer base that was dumb enough to buy non-Rolex to get a Rolex.
Yeah, but I can generate more volume with those other brands. I just can't. I can't generate the volume I can with the Rolex. Where with the Breitlings, I can discount a Breitling to you at 10%, to OC at 20%, to Buckley at 30%. I don't care.
And some people pay full price.
And some people pay full price. Exactly. So it all averages out. And guess what? Every single time you guys buy, another one comes in a week. So like I can play the game. That's kind of how it works. With Rolex, I can't. I hope and pray. They'll send me all the ladies' watches, but like maybe the black subs, and even then they'll be like, "Oh, how much black subs did you sell?" So I can't even. With other brands, I could just keep ordering and ordering. So if I can get a good savvy crew of salespeople in there, it'll work. So I think what will happen is people who don't have good savvy people, they're gonna have to discount.
Most of them don't have them, dude.
Exactly, it's gone. It's gone. I talked to so many people, and like even I hear so many things. It makes me sad because like the amount of money that's getting thrown around, people forget that this is $50,000, man. Somebody just did a deal with $30,000. Somebody wants to do a deal for over $100,000 with me. Diego wants to do a deal So I have to treasure, I have to kind of, but still, you have to kind of honor their experience and treat you with respect and all these things. That has just been thrown away. And I think you should get that for Nixon, by the way. I have $78 Nixon. I used to give you Heineken back in the day. So like,
dude,
I'm
listen
that
to
guy.
this. So I went to Mayer's Jewelers because my sales associate there, she wasn't part of the new Rolex opening. So she can't sell me Rolex anymore. So I've got a new SA, right? I go in and I get introduced to this guy. I think his name was Craig. And he sits down. I'm like, hey, I'm Diego. He's like, Craig. Immediately lifts his laptop. From that moment on, there was no eye contact from him. I'm asking him questions. I'm asking him like, hey, so where'd you work before? He's like, Neiman Marcus. I was like, oh, wow. And I'm like, that's such a big jump. Congratulations. Not once did he say, tell me about yourself, Diego. What do you want, Diego? How long you've been working with Mayors? Nothing. These people don't know how to sell. Not only do they not know how to sell, they don't know how to make you feel welcome in a way. No. I mean, it was a horrible experience. It was like, damn, dude.
And it's sad because it's like, you're somebody, you're at Rolex. You're gonna buy whatever, as long as he offers you decent things, you're gonna give him money. You know what I mean?
He's got this attitude of like, these sell themselves. I don't need you. You need me, kind of thing. And that's not the case anymore.
No, and it's sad because a lot of people who, if you watch Game of Thrones, a lot of summer children are out there, But I was born in the winter, and a lot of people are gonna have to figure out how to effing sell an Air King. And they're going to have to pull out stories out their ass on how to sell an OP. And they won't be able to do it. And people just be like, well, I'll just go to Gray. These guys throw parties and this and blah, 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 blah.
Gray is becoming very, very, very attractive lately.
Oh, come on, man. There's some great options out there. Forget even the main players. Attractive. There's some great boutique guys like CQTheWatchGuy.com, but there's a lot of other players as well who... just because I'm in the space now, I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you're in my space, but they're there and they're making things nice and cozy for their clientele. And that's kind of the way, right? If I can just come to your house, I can size the watch for you. I give it to you a little bit more, but you feel like you're supporting my business. And listen, I'm going to remember your birthday. I'm going to remember your kids' names. I'm going to send you a card for the holidays, maybe a little bit of wine or whatever, a little cake, whatever you like, and so you're going to feel good. So then you kind of forget how much you're spending a little bit, right? Because the experience has been amplified. And a lot of these dealers who used to do amazing things for the clients probably don't even handwrite notes anymore. And like, that's like a travesty. And you get experiences like Diego had, and it's like, why would he even want to call Craig again? Why would Diego want to give Craig a positive experience? Diego's not going to like talk to Craig like, hey, bro, do you have what I need or not? Okay, bye. Because why? You don't even want to know.
I've written that AD off completely.
Oh, exactly. Boom. So there you go.
I don't care. Like it's not good. It could have been completely different if it was a very warm reception. Like, oh wow, you've been with Mayors for 4 years, and I see you bought this, and tell me what you want. What do you like? Just like tell me, where do you work? Are you married? I see you're married. Like then I would have been like, hey, this guy's actually kind of cool. Yeah, I'll come back in a month and say, hey,
people buy from people they like. Simple as that.
So
they do.
John D in the chat says OCA was at an upscale Madison Avenue boutique over the weekend, was told by the sales associate that they haven't received a shipment for many weeks as corporate decided to ride out the lack of clarity. By the way, and that's 100% true. We are just, let's not forget that we are 1 month into these tariffs. When I was in Geneva and the 31% went into effect, I was basically privy to, I was meeting with all the dealers there, all the big independents and others, and they told me, OC, we just got off a conference call. We're not buying shit. Fuck these guys. We all banded together. We're not going to buy anything until they figure this shit out. We have enough inventory to ride this for several months. Let's see how they do when we don't buy anything for a while, right? So they probably backed off from that a little bit as the tariffs went from 31 down to 10. But it sounds like, based on this anecdotal info from John D, maybe a lot of them are still like, you know what, 10's still too high. We're gonna figure out what the hell let them figure out what the fuck's going on, and then we'll buy again. But we're not gonna just automatically absorb tariffs going from 3% to 10%. And then on top of that, these guys are telling us they're gonna raise prices.
Yeah.
Prices are getting out of hand. They're getting really, really out of hand.
Yeah.
Are there sales tax in Switzerland, OC? Income
built
tax
it,
and stuff
it's built,
like that.
It's built into the price, and you get the VAT back of approximately 8%, I believe. So
The reason
price
I ask, Rolex is a non-for-profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So these fucks can't 10%. Come on.
Oh no,
You know what I mean? Like,
it's not about money, man. They like, if we really know what the bank account was, maybe trillions by now, bro. Like, when have they? You know what I mean? From the time I was born, I'm 35 years old, and well before 1989, Rolex was booming, baby. And they always had the 80 system. So remember, all they gotta do is export it. They don't even gotta sell it.
it's such a.
It's not about money,
It's a bad look, though.
Oh, it is. It's horrible.
How quick they did it? Because what if Trump tomorrow says we're raising tariffs to Switzerland to 50%? Is Rolex going to do another increase?
They're gonna have.
I hope people have watches they like, and
you know what I
they
mean?
can live with for quite a while, because I just don't see people buying watches.
I think, I don't know, man. It's going to be. I think the secondary market is going to be a very interesting place. Unfortunately, this is just ripe for the wild west again, for people to raise prices and all type of stuff, because nobody wants to import a watch. Like, I'm not importing internationally. I'm sourcing, like, for my friend Diego, I might do something extraordinary, but for a normal person right now, I'm trying to find you something that's within the US, because I just don't want to deal with it right now. Forget the tariff. It's just the shipping. You know what I mean? That's, nobody's talking about that.
The
and
DHL
the DHL and
yeah.
Oh my gosh, to get.
If you are a viewer and you are unaware, and you see a great Rolex in Italy or France or Japan on Chrono 24,
and it costs more than $800, which everything does, you ain't getting it.
Buy that watch, because it's going to sit in customs for.
Oh, you mean buying it while in the US? I was saying if you're there.
No, if you're trying to, like, let's say, I don't know, Buckley's looking for a vintage date for whatever reason, and it happens to be in Italy, and you hit buy it now and you pay, they ship, you're not getting that watch.
It's going to sit in customs.
Oh, yeah.
If I wanted a Vacheron overseas, I'd be booking a flight to Italy right now.
Oh, all day. I literally, like, I'm getting very into watch tourism. I want to take people all over the world, because, like, why would you?
When I was there for the overseas, they were ready to give 17 or 19% VAT. Forgot what it was, and they were willing to discount it 10%.
Yep.
And
that
the dollar,
that's a lot of money.
The dollar at that time as well was like it was pretty strong. It was almost one for one, right?
Yeah, I'm sure now they're probably discounting even more, because I can't believe, I don't think they're doing any better.
Vimal says, oh, sorry, Mr. G says it's 5 to 8%. So on the VAT back from Switzerland is 5 to 8%.
Gotcha.
It's still attractive. Mm-hmm. Yo, Kelso, what's up?
Hey, boo.
What's up? Hey, we're going to go through this. We're going to keep going. By the way, the poll just ended. State of the watch industry is. The winner was neutral 59%, bust 34%, booming only 5%. So only 5% of you think the industry is booming. 34% said bust, 59% said neutral. Let's continue on with the video. We're analyzing Waco's hard truths facing the watch industry. This is the OC channel. We're over 70 viewers. Upvote the live stream. We're now the top viewed live stream of the night. Let's keep going.
CQ is giving out he's giving out trips around the world.
Oh yeah, everybody's going.
Come to Dubai with us. CQ and I will be in Dubai. We're going to arrange a visit to Luxury Souk and a visit to Siddiqui and Sons. We'll buy all our watches there, and we'll stuff them in socks and smuggle them back.
No.
Hey, I did not condone that. Not
smuggle. Not smuggle.
Not the UAE. Not the UAE. Listen. Anywhere else.
All right, let's keep going.
absorb it.
That's
Now,
amazing, man.
increase the prices to them by 20%. That's not correct. That's
Yeah.
not ethical. We will absorb it.
That's
Now,
amazing, man. Yeah.
Nomos Glashütte is a brand I always admire because they're like, even though they're a very big brand, they act like a startup, meaning they spend their money very conservatively and very wisely. To me, this means that they've also figured out how to have enough of a margin that they can absorb the 20% that they need to, but that's not necessarily.
They're no different than anybody else. It's not like Glashütte or Nomos has magic margin. You know, it's just that they need.
No,
it's a
they
marketing
figured
thing.
it out. They figured it out. OC.
All right.
Don't you
Very
understand?
applicable to all brands.
That's right.
And it's certainly not applicable to exactly the reason why I brought Eric Koo up to secondary.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand this because as a person that done dealings as well, the margins is like really thin, man. Like,
Yeah, so
the margins in secondary are really thin, man. These secondary dealers are going to get crushed by this. They're making a sliver right now.
we're talking about secondary, we're talking about
Yeah.
pre-owned, we're talking about
Yeah.
vintage. If all those watches are taxed at their market rate, then you create a situation where the taxation. Okay, what's the average margin on, like, let's say a pre-owned watch?
bro, like the hot models, like, I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like for like, let's talk.
What do you think the answer is going to be?
He's gonna be like, for a Panda, like 2%.
I don't. I mean, we know based on phone calls what they're looking to make.
We do.
Yeah. Okay. So he's going to tell you now what he thinks or what he says is the average margin, the average markup on a hot piece, on a hype piece in secondary. You ready for the answers, guys? But if you want, type your quick answer in the chat. Everybody in the chat, how much margin are they going to make on your hot Rolex that you're flipping to them?
Why do I feel like I'm gonna punch the screen?
You know what else dealers do is they will send you comps of the wrong watch 3 years
Okay,
older.
CQ, how many times have you had? What are the tips, the tips,
They
the
will
tips and
hope
tricks?
that you don't know. They'll oh, I guess that is the same watch for that price. Okay. Like, bro, that's not even the same reference. It's also 3 years old and used.
Don't
Oh,
deal
you're
with
right.
those dealers. Don't deal with those.
Oh, I've got some stories for you.
You'd be real shocked.
Got
You'd
some
be real
stories
shocked.
for you.
Yeah,
You're right. You're right. Let me just say, wherever I worked, I kept a certain standard, and like weak people were around me. Like, I don't play that shit, man. Like, I
CQ.
just, yeah.
I'm not going to say the exact watch, but we'll pretend like it's my Aquanaut, right? 2020, 2022, new clasp. But let's pretend like it's a brand new 5712, right? Just discontinued, brand new.
We did. We went through that scenario.
I know, but
already.
this is the scenario that we've experienced. It's, hey, I've got this 5712 unworn 2025, and then you send me a 2016 5712 on chrono and go, well, this one's selling for 95, so I can give you like 90. Meanwhile, you have a 2025 unworn on your website for 160.
Yeah,
And I'm
I
like,
just won't work with that person again.
Bro, like, this is not even close to the, like, that's what's happening with these dealers. It's funny.
Well, so the issue is like a lot of people just take it, right? So if enough people take it, right, then it's like, why would I be like, yeah, and you make a killing.
At the end of our conversation, they were like, listen, you clearly know a lot more than the average consumer.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that. And I was like, yeah, dude. Like,
yep.
Because every time I was met with a reason to justify the price, I would hit back with, well, that's not true because this. Oh, well, we just want to make, and it came down to, we just want to make more money.
Of course.
We don't want to spend the money.
And in financial terms, what was the percentage markup that they were seeking?
20 to 25%.
Let me see here.
Yeah. You got to remember, right? Most of these people, and I have to include myself, right, will work 22%. as little as 500, and for as much as you give them. You know, that's a real game. Not everybody. I won't say everybody. People who, but that's the game, right? Like, you'll make as little as 500 and you'll make as much as that other person will let you. Now, your ethics determines how much you'll take advantage of somebody, right? Ethics comes in, but then, not everybody has the same ethics, man. So that's really become the game. But I personally think in that scenario, you just don't call that person back again. Because that means if you slip up and you find something that you weren't as sharp on, they'll take advantage of you. So why even deal with that person again, you know?
Well, we wouldn't say this is a person. It's more like top five gray market companies in the U.S.
Yeah, hey, listen, and what I do, hey, get your number, call them, and just give them your number, right? When we play the game, everybody thinks, you know, we go back to the old rules of like first person to say the number loses. This is incorrect in the watch industry. You know who loses? You, the consumer. You are not meant to win this game. Your win in this game is enjoying the watch. So stop trying to win a transaction, but get a fair number, a fair value for what you're looking for. Just be straight up and get out of the bullshit.
I have always, whenever I've sold a watch to the gray market, especially if it was, I mean, I've never really sold any unworn watches, but if it was a hot Rolex, I always looked at what they had it listed for, and then I came in 15% lower. So if you wanted 10 grand, I wanted 8,500. I felt that was very, very fair. CQ, these guys are looking, if they're selling a watch for 100 grand, they're looking to get it for 75.
Oh yeah. Well, now in today's market for sure, you know, so you got to know, and that's the thing is like, do you need to sell? How you need to sell? And it was unfortunate. I hate this because this is when I want to say consignment's a good option, but then we've seen what's happened. I think virtual consignment is a good option. I wish there were better platforms for individuals to sell their watches. But in this market, nobody needs to buy anything. Nobody needs to buy anything. So that's the market.
We will now learn the true markup that they will apply to your watches. Guys, pay close attention, because if you have a watch that you think the true market value is 50,000, take this percentage they're about to tell you and subtract that, and you've got their buy price. Ready? Here we go.
Guaranteed.
Where the taxation, okay, what's the average margin on like, let's say a pre-owned watch?
Bro, like the hot models, like, I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like for like, let's talk about those high models like Rolex. When you buy high and they gotta make some margins, we're talking about an average between 3 to 10%, bro.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You're a lying fucking idiot.
No. Okay, now time out.
People who wholesale make 3 to 10%. When
that's what I was going to say.
He's not going for 3 to 10%. You fucking asshole.
That's what I was going to say. If he's talking wholesale, I can kind of agree. But if he's
I'm
talking,
not even kidding. You're a fucking dickhead. You're a fucking.
But if
liar.
he's talking his purchase price wholesale to market price end user, that's bullshit.
He's a fucking That's all.
You'd be surprised.
CQ.
It really depends on watch. It really depends.
I've dealt with European watch company, David SW, 1916.
David, let's do. So listen, let's do a real world.
What's the guy in California? Fucking Paul. What's his name? Paul's watch. Bob's watches.
Bob's watch.
Dealt with Nashville watch. I have never been able to get more. I've never been able to squeeze them less than 12% ever on any of them. And those are the dealers.
Oh, 12%. Yeah, okay, yeah. I was about to say like 15.
Face on the screen is saying 3%.
Well, if it's a higher dollar amount,
CQ,
right?
If this guy's gonna buy a watch for 97 grand and mark it up to 100, fuck you. No way.
I've seen that. Well, no, I've seen, but I depending on
no.
If it's a watch,
I guess not in today's market.
Not in today's. All right, hold on. Here, real world.
You worked for David SW.
Real world example. Now listen, these prices are a little inflated. I've seen these. I think the market price.
Sure. I've got the calculator.
I think the market price for this is around $32,000, and I'm being generous. You guys agree with me? New unworn 32,000.
31, 32. Yeah.
This is a bad example because this is an unworn, by the way. This is really good.
Okay, but that's the example we're going to use. There's a price of $37,000 on this website. How much do you think he's paying for this?
25.
35,700 OC. 3% off.
But so here's a problem, right?
No, you know what? He's not even buying it. He's not even paying
25 grand. No. How about 28? No, I can't do it. You know why? I got a bunch in the back.
Exactly. But that's
hold on, one at a time, guys. Okay, go ahead.
He's most likely buying these wholesale. Why would he have to? He's not. So when you call and you say, guess what, Mr. David? I got a Panda Daytona unworn. They didn't even size it. He's going to go, I'm good. What do you mean? He's like, I have 20 available to me at any given moment in my chat for less than what you're going to take.
Exactly.
So he's probably paying 20, like Buckley said, 25, maybe less.
Listen, you pay wholesale plus a little bit. You know what I mean? For something that's what I call a commodity product, right? I could get 30, 40, 50 white Panda Daytonas if I had a sold order for it. It wouldn't be as hard as you think to amass those watches. So there's really no, unless you really have a true stickers on, barcode, that type of situation, then you can muscle me for more money. But like, why would I ever need that? So that's the thing. Now, if it's, I don't know, like a Patek that just came out, or a Rolex that just came out that's super hot, that new turquoise blue or so, you know what I mean? Things like that, of course you can, you know, not even things that are that unobtainium, things that are a little bit less. Then of course, hey, I'll make $3,000 if I'll buy something for 97 and put it on the retail for 100 if I know I'll sell it for 100 within 2-3 weeks. But also get the marketing right? Exactly. If you know it's flying out, but you get to say, "Hey, I was the first," and I've seen that many times. Where people make nothing.
If someone calls you and says, "I've got the new Cubitus white gold," and markets, I don't know what the market is. Let's just say it's 160, and they say, "I want 150." You're gonna say, "Done," and you're gonna list it for 155 and move on with your life.
Well, I'll probably list it at like 158 and then like play the game a little bit. But
sure.
Like, you know, but I would hold it for a month, and I do it at 152 if I need to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's because it's not a common commodity. Now, if somebody called you and said, "I have a 5712R, and I don't know the retail or I don't know the market, but let's say it's 200," you're not going to give them 190.
No,
you're going to be like, "I'm in at 160," right?
It depends, but.
Not and what look, and it's not necessarily you we're talking. We're just talking.
No, if you're stocking
the gray market in general, that's what they're going to do when it is a known commodity, when they're available in any place you look.
So the thing is, like, when I gotta pay my bills, I gotta be able to sell. I gotta be able to turn that watch into cash. So it's always going to be around that price, especially in this market. You know, that's a reality.
I got no problem with that. I got a problem with fuckface on the screen trying to tell us 3 to 10%.
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
Constant Kwong. He's one of the executives at Revolution Watch. If you're just joining us, let's listen again to this important comment.
Not even kidding. Like
a pre-owned a situation where the taxation. Okay, what's the average margin on let's say a pre-owned watch?
Bro, like the hot models. Like, I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like for like. Let's talk about those hype models like Rolex. When you buy high and they gotta make some margins, we're talking about an average between 3 to 10%, bro.
So that makes it basically impossible to have a business anymore. Right?
It's impossible for these guys to survive, Buckley. Okay. You're taking food out of their babies' mouths.
But you're not also overhead, blah blah blah, all that too. You know?
Oh yeah, the overhead. I love the overhead. Nobody told Roman to buy an F1 car and hang it from his ceiling. Nobody told. And you know the funniest thing about the overhead? There's a lot of gray market dealers that have brick and mortars where you can't visit. Swiss Watch Expo is a great example. They do not let you come in.
No way.
Oh, no. And they have CQ. They have the most incredible showcase. I've only been there once. They have everything. It's well organized. There's probably, I'm not exaggerating, 2,000 to 3,000 watches on display. And we're not talking shitters. You cannot go to Swiss Watch Expo, park your car, go in and say, "Hey, I just want to browse." No. You have to call ahead and say, "I want this specific watch." They bring it to you in this like secure area, and you don't get to browse. But they have the overhead, right? They have this beautiful building with showcases. It's fun.
I know other dealers like that. OC Watch Guy is the same way. He does the same thing. He has a lot of watches on his website, but if you go in, it's one watch at a time. It's only what you request.
Exactly.
This guy pissed me the fuck off just now with that comment. 3 to 10%.
Don't go crazy. Hey, Ghost of Yiddish Gambinos in the chat. I buy and sell regularly. I have a reseller certificate. I have zero issue getting 25 to 30% from you suckers for a hard to sell piece, and I'm holding it. I also have zero issue buying subs to flip for only $250 or $500 a piece. So there you go. That's Yiddish Gambino in the chat.
That's a wholesale movement, though. This guy's talking about the gray market is not working for 3 to 10%. At the height of the market, we were working. I knew so many people working with collectors, with Bob's watches, with European. I knew all of them. We were getting people. I knew people getting Rolexes every month. They never got more than. They never cut the difference down more than 12% ever. And 12% was on a Panda Daytona. So don't give me this shit about 3. The fucking restaurant business. The restaurant business is 10%, and they have the thinnest margin in business. No one works 3%. Get the fuck out.
Nah. It really depends. If it's a precious metal piece, that's different. You know what I mean? I'll make 3% on $100 grand, $2 You know what I mean? On a stainless
steel. If I sell you a sub for 10 grand, you're going to list it for 10.3?
Well, I can't list it for 10.3 because they'll ask for a discount. I can't. You see, it's all broken. It's all broken, right? I can't even say 10.5 no discount because somebody's going to still call and say, "Hey, man, what about no CC fees? What about blah 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 blah?"
Well, it's because everybody wants. People don't actually want this shit. They just want to win. That's all.
Exactly.
That's the whole discount thing. Is it's like, oh my god, I wasn't going to buy any shoes, but fuck, 30% off. Okay.
Yeah.
People, it's just like it's like logical thing.
Federico made a video a couple of months ago talking about how he has to get at least 25%. Nobody in the industry works for 10. This guy's a liar.
Mm-hmm.
It depends for what Federico sells.
Federico's got overhead.
I need 20. Yeah, and for what he sells, I would also want at least 25% because he sells a lot of things you got to sit on.
For gay mariners.
Yeah,
exactly. A lot of shepherds and retrievers.
Don't forget about Cecil B. Parnell.
Nobody who has a real gray market store that has people calling in trying to flip watches, especially hard to get Rolex, like this guy is saying, "Oh, you have a Pepsi? I'll pay you 20 and sell it for 21.5." No, you won't.
Here's why this is such.
That's happening.
No, CQ. I dealt with too many of you motherfuckers. You won't do it. No, you won't do it.
No, all right. Timeout, CQ. In the roaring 2023s, maybe.
Yeah,
right?
in the roaring
2022s. Yeah. The roaring 2021.
Not today.
12% was the minimum.
Not
Here's
today.
the reason why this is a sore subject, or at least an issue of contention, is that for those of us who bought watches at retail, we saw those prices go sky high. We're actually still ahead. So what do we do when we're ahead with a bunch of watches that we have? We think about, hey, you know what? I'm still ahead on like these 5 or 6 Rolex or 7 Rolex that I have. 3 of them I don't wear, so why don't I get rid of these 3 and consolidate into something? And then you're like, I think these are worth X, and you think X is reasonable, and then you reach out to a dealer, and then all of a sudden it's X minus 20%. You're like, wait a minute, I thought I was offering you like a fair trade-in price, and you realize that there's the mismatch of expectations on what the trade-in price. So all you want to do is get into you actually want to buy a piece from a dealer and trade in stuff, and you're getting
you're getting
screwed, raked over the coals. How about that? Raked over the coals.
There you go. Good
gray market dealers, and no shame to them for this. They make their money on the buy. The issue is when you question certain prices that you see them selling for. You get it's this much because of this. Oh, okay. Well, then I have this. Oh, well, overhead. You know how much it costs to take photos. It might not even sell.
I got to open it up. I've got to service
it. You get all these excuses.
I like that.
You get all these excuses. So we don't look. I say it all the time. I'm a capitalist. You are more than what's the word? You have the right to make as much as you can. That's fair. But don't fucking lie about it. Just be honest and transparent. It's the same as the dealers, about the journeys. Just be honest and transparent. These gray market dealers, man, they throw you one excuse, you shoot that excuse down, they throw you another one.
That's true. I think you're absolutely right. And I guess I'm very lucky that I come from a place where the excuses made sense, and like you could extract that value back. Like from a 1916, you get the events, you get this and that, and like depending who you work with, you could get a lot of special treatment. You get the Tim Masso, you get the content, you get all these things. So I can point to Tim Masso and say, hey, well, I can at least joke with you. I gotta pay Tim. You know what I mean? And you can actually like take that joke and be like, hey, I understand, like, you know, because Tim, so many people have bought watches literally because of the 16.5 centimeter wrist. Like,
I got a question. Side note. I got a side note question for you. I've always wondered this. What was Watchbox paying commission? Like, how did the commission structure work?
Well, so it kind of floated up and down. So sometimes it would be like, let's say on the if you sold something, let's say there might be a situation where you make 6% on the sale, and then maybe you make 4% on the purchase, and maybe you make $50 on the origination. But that would move depending on the market. Like right now, let's say they need to sell stuff, right? I gotta incentivize my guys, so that might switch a little bit more. I don't, because as well, like they need to make sure we can make money. And like if let's say I'm a very good buyer, right now you don't want me buying, you want to incentivize me to sell, so you need to change my thing. But that was also back then, and that's changed many times. So many people probably just salary plus a point or two or something.
Well, like I was trying to figure out, because Tim Masso was genius with all those those quick videos he did, and he would flip the paper over and be like, Tim Masso at thewatchbox.com.
Yeah,
I can only imagine the amount of inquiries he generated and how many people he has to sell to. He must have made a fortune.
So you will not believe me. You're not going to believe me. He does not sell. He is not. I'm sure, like in his package, somehow he's smart enough to, negotiate some deal. But like he really just loves 20. If it was me, trust me, I wanted to be his assistant.
So wait a minute.
He doesn't get a bunch of phone calls.
He does.
So you're telling me
he interacts. No, he interacts.
The greatest marketer for watches of all time does sell watches.
A beautiful man. This is like a beautiful man.
Yes. No. I swear to you, and like I swear to like,
holy shit.
I swear, I don't want to swear anything, but I swear, like he literally just loves what he does, and he's so good. He's such a great.
But George Mayer made fucking.
Of course. George is in sales. He's a director of sales.
George made stacks. He had.
CQ.
Listen.
CQ. Did you have the ability? Like, let's say
you were over there in Dubai. You're being all humble. You probably
brother. You were in the chat, right? You're in the Dubai chat. You saw the view. I enjoyed my chat. Oh,
you didn't have to pay. You don't have to pay.
Brother, it was a beautiful time. It was a beautiful time, brother. I love the UAE. I love the UAE.
Shit. CQ, were you able to? Were you able to adjust your commissions on a piece to make a deal work? So let's say you were able to get 6, and you go to your boss and like, hey man, I want to get this deal done for this price. I'll take 3%.
For sure. There were times like let's say when the market was going down where I sold the watch, I'm losing money, and it's like, hey, I make $50, but I'm still fighting for my client because, hey, I know in 6 months you're gonna buy something else from me. So it's definitely, again, like every salesperson is very, very different. As you see, I'm a unique type of person. So I'm that guy, right, who's like, fuck my commission, bro. Just give me 1%. Just buy me dinner. Just give me some gift cards, whatever. I just want to make this deal. I want to make this happy because I'm going to make you happy. And then I'm going to make you put me on the podcast. I'm going to make you introduce me to your friends. I know how to extract the business. Some other people are just going to be like, hey, Diego, I can't get it done. So everything is so very, very individual, right? And that's for like all businesses.
Well, I was thinking, CQ, when we ran into you in the street that one time, you were with George Mayer.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
I was thinking to myself, I'm like, this fucking guy's wearing like a $5,000 sport coat right now. They got to be making money over here. I was like, dude, this guy's wearing a fucking Brioni sports coat. Something's up. What's going on?
Listen, that man is and I told him this the other day, he is the hardest working person in the industry. Day in, day out. I've never seen somebody show up grind it out at his level, grinding it out like you'd swear he's a normal salesperson. It's insane. Like when you're like, wait, that's the guy who sends the email. That's the guy. Before I knew who he was, and like from then, the first time I met him till now, good with clients. He's like, he could have been like a big finance guy. So the way he speaks, everything, nobody can come to his level. Nobody can come to his level.
The amount of Jorn, first of all, the Jorn hype. If you take the Jorn hype and what it is, you have to give Watchbox 50% of the credit. And if you give Watchbox 50% of the credit, you got to give 50% of that 50% to George Mayer.
For sure. Maybe
he's the guy.
Maybe more. Maybe more.
And if he's getting 5% a watch,
listen, I don't know. I would say
good, right?
A person in his position within that company could, dictate whatever he wants. I'd also say like he's been there from Goldberg, right? He's like an OG, literally left college and was gonna work, with a bank, or ended up working with Danny Goldberg, who's his childhood friend's father, right? So he's been there forever. So this, again, of course, there's money and all that stuff, but like the money's old, baby. They've been doing this. So what's figuring out a little situation here and there? That's what I love about that situation, because yes, there's so much money involved. And listen, I was blessed, and everybody got a lot of blessings out there. But you had a guy like Tim Marceau, who's literally the best marketer in watches. And when I tell you, you couldn't talk to him about money, bro. You couldn't. He doesn't even like when you see what he drives, when you see what he eats, when you see like
what he smells like.
Oh, he's an angel. Angel. Nah, I can't even talk about it. He's an angel, bro. He's an angel.
What do you mean?
That's my brother.
Is he like a vegan or something?
No, it's just like he's just very structured. It's very structured, and like he's not the person who's gonna splurge on a $500 steak dinner. He might splurge on a really great bike and a very good car and a very good experience, but he's not something, because I think he was in the military as well. He was in the military, so he's very good with his spending. So he doesn't. I don't know if he needs it. Even he could probably extract millions of dollars a year easily. If I was his assistant, brother, and I just got every one of those Tim Marceau emails, I kid you not, I wouldn't even have time to talk to you guys, bro. And I love you guys. I love spending time with you guys, but I would just be on the yacht and just have no signal, and the Wi-Fi would be crazy. Like I'm telling you, like not even the money would be. I'd be a changed man. I don't even want to think.
That's what I'm saying. We have a friend who bought a very, very expensive watch from Watchbox. Mm-hmm. That like when you talk about it, does it get higher? Not really. And one of those guys flew out to him. And I was like, you know what, for them to pay for the flight and deliver this and like spend the day, it's got to be a heavy commission.
It depends. It depends, man.
What are you walking away with on a $500,000 watch? What are you walking away with?
It depends, man. I mean, I've done one. I flew on Dubai on my own dime. I'll tell you, I flew on Dubai. I flew from Dubai to Philly to LA. They paid for Philly to LA, but I flew from Dubai to the US on my own dime last minute. Ended up being about $5,000, and it was worth it. That's all I'll say. I paid the $5,000 for the flight, and that sale was about just over $500,000, and I was okay.
If you want to join me and CQ in Dubai, we're going to be there this November. We'll charter a plane. CQ will arrange it. Luxury Soup will fly us out.
Exactly.
And we're leaving out of either Newark or Philly. Hop aboard the CQ Express to Dubai this November. Reach out. I want to keep going on the video because
I'm trying to get a job. You're fucking me all up here.
Nah, those jobs are done, bro. It's done. Those good days are.
Let's keep going. It's not so much about the secondary market. Let's see what else other good insights they have. It's the hard truths facing the watch industry, according to Constant Kwong.
Joe, this guy's eyelids sweating. You ever see someone with sweaty eyelids?
Shiny. They're shiny.
fucking Pinocchio over here.
Oh, come
No,
on.
no,
It's
no.
not
It's
being-
the lights. It's the lights. It's the lights.
What's
It's the lights. The harsh lights of the studio. And Waco of Revolution Watch, they're analyzing the watch industry, the impact of tariffs. Let's
fishing
go.
outfit. Cool fishing outfit, liar.
So that makes it basically impossible to have a business
Impossible to do
anymore,
business,
right?
guys.
And that's a major issue. And while everyone may say, "Oh, but the secondary market, I don't really think about it," don't forget that there's probably more watches in circulation on the secondary market than there are on the primary market. The secondary market has become a key market indicator, also in giving people confidence to buy watches today.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yes, of course. I mean, this is the indicator that all of us, I mean, as watch guys, we would definitely use, because we want to actually know how much of the value of a watch is at any time.
So I think
that's right. And if the value of the watch isn't much higher than what we're about to pay, what do you think is going to happen? We're not going to buy the watches.
Increased inventory
you're probably realizing
is a bad sign. That's actually the opposite of what you just said. If there's a bunch of Le Mans available for sale and they're not selling, that's a bad indicator of the market.
Mm-hmm. No, what he's saying is that the values that you see are what we use. So seeing the prices in the secondary market, we use those to justify our purchases.
Okay. I thought he said seeing all these watches out in the market. I don't know.
The market has become a key market indicator, also in giving people confidence to buy watches today.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yes, of course. I mean, this is the indicator that all of us, I mean, as watch guys, we would definitely use, because we want to actually know how much of the value of a watch is at any time.
So I think that you're probably realizing that a lot of the secondary players in the United States are now facing almost existential threat, because it's like, can we actually continue our business?
They're being threatened. They're under attack. The secondary, all the gray market's under attack.
They're not.
And this also applies to auctions and so on. Although, of course, auction houses have the possibility to shift.
But I don't know what he's going to say is the reason why he thinks they're under attack. But
so here's what I would say is potentially importing watches from outside the U.S. Yeah.
Which is very
big issues right there.
It's bigger than people realize.
Imagine all the inventory these guys get from Asia, Dubai, wherever. I don't know, fucking Switzerland. Can't get them in now.
You got to remember, it's kind of like it's a global inventory, right? It's not really a local inventory. If I can send you a watch from Dubai and you can have it in 3 days, it's global. Right. So as soon as we turn that 3 days into 10 days, it then becomes a domestic market. And that's the issue that we're facing. So any dealers who were really set up to be global in terms of they have partners in other regions and the inventory goes back and forth very easily, that changes. And that's what you're going to kind of see, who is really not who they say they were. They were somebody else's inventory on their website, or they were doing, so that's a ripple effect that's going to kind of happen. And the people who are heavy with domestic inventory will get to dictate the market now.
If an auction from the United States, okay, so maybe Phillips doesn't have so many New York auctions. Maybe it does more Geneva auctions, right?
It's really the US-based dealers that are facing a very big threat, I think, end of the day.
Well, the other big question mark here is how vigilantly will watches be checked coming back in, right? So
so now he's bringing up the issue of
keister stash. What you do is you put it in a Ziploc bag, a little lube, stick it up your ass. I will
because of course one of the ideas is that
let me put this out there. I will keister stash Daytonas for $2,500 per piece.
And there's a lot of room up there.
No,
four pieces per trip.
I heard Diego do it for free because he enjoys the sensation.
Oh my god, the sensation! Asshole.
All right,
check coming back in, right? So because of course one of the ideas is that this whole tariff situation will massively increase travel retail, right? And travel retail is very interesting to me as well. So what I was told that when the 31% tariffs came out, apparently all the retailers in the Caribbean were having like a huge celebration.
Hey, did you hear that, CQ?
Oh, actually, I zoned out for a second. I'm sorry.
And travel retail is very interesting to me as well. So what I was told that when the 31% tariffs came out, apparently all the retailers in the Caribbean were having like a huge celebration. It's very close to the United States. It's one of the most popular vacation destinations, and then you can go there and buy your dream watch, right?
But no 31%. So
exactly, and you can do it without.
Can I be honest
because
with you? I thought about like going back to the islands real quick. If they still have paddock, I'd have probably went back for 5 months, because like just with all the people who are my book now, I could just ship so many watches and have people visit and all that type of stuff, because the U.S. Virgin Islands is in a special customs zone, so they will not be affected by any of these tariffs, no matter what the tariff is. Even though it's a U.S. territory, it's in a special customs zone, so it's only 6%, no matter what happens. So yeah, a lot of the Caribbean islands are gonna, which is awesome actually. So I'm really happy because the islands need it, but a lot of them are gonna do very well, and a lot of brands will just shift that inventory right over. You just ship it right over.
This is a subject that they're about to get into. So let's hear their analysis here about traveling to get your watch.
Basically, what does your 31% go to? It goes to nothing, right? You get nothing for that 31%.
You're doing your patriotic duty, guys. You're leveling out the playing field. You're helping with trade imbalances. That's what you're doing.
Okay. So the other beneficiaries of this may potentially be the capital cities in the world. But I say this with a major caveat, right? Because you're then, okay, well, maybe if your watch is, let's say, for the sake of argument, $100,000. And that's actually a good price to talk about as well, because it's very clear that the majority of smart brands are very refocused on the upper end.
Yes, right.
And on complicated watches, on precious metal watches.
And very, very high-end watches.
Because that is the segment of the population that is most protected during economic up and downs, right? The segment of the population that's most affected is like us.
The rich people feel it less. It's
the middle class, right? And
wait a minute, did you just say people like us? That was funny.
The segment of the population that's most affected is like us, the middle class, right?
Isn't the middle class? Waco has a blue ceramic AP middle fucking class. These guys are unbelievable.
Hey, we're all middle class. We're all middle class working folks.
I bet that guy's glasses were like $6,000.
Yeah, they're probably
Bro, I was looking at him too.
Dude, he has a fucking blue ceramic. What does that even go for? 140 retail?
Oh, retail, yeah, probably somewhere around that.
Yeah, we're middle class. I have $140,000 blue ceramic AP.
Just
hardworking man.
Constance highlights are at least $300 a month. I mean, that's
easily.
I know, always nice. Always on.
You know what I noticed? I'd love to have an Asian come on the stream and walk us through why, when Asians make a lot of money, the first thing they do is put highlights in their hair. No other culture does that. They go blonde, they go purple, pink, blue. What the fuck? I want to know why they do that shit.
You know, so I don't have to go into a 9-to-5 job. That's the flex.
You think that's what it is? Like, I'm going to show everybody that I don't have to work. My hair is going to be white by the end of the week.
Exactly.
I just dropped the link, a special link for Asians. If you're Asian, want to hop on the panel, got a special link just for you.
You know what I'm talking about too. All of you know what I'm talking about. They always do that.
Sometimes some of them do. Like Zack Attack doesn't put highlights in, but some of the Chinese actors and Korean actors, yeah, they do that.
Look at Humble Pine. Humble Pine's got fucking white.
Yep, he put in white highlights. Yep.
Yeah, his hair's white.
Michael Jackson never did. I mean, I consider Michael Jackson Asian. So
he didn't do his hair.
No, he never did his hair, but he straightened it. But he never
did other things.
Yeah. Other things that we don't want to talk about here. All right. Let's talk about these working class folks, Constant Kwong and Waco.
That is the segment of the population that is most protected during economic up and downs, right? The segment of the population that's most affected is like us, the middle class, right? And it's really tough for highball.
It is funny.
Are you serious with it?
It is. It's so funny how they're looking at each other back and they're like, "Yeah, people, just regular fucking guys like us.
No way.
We're Play that one more time. Here.
Play that one more time.
No, they didn't sell it off as a joke. I thought they played it off.
Guys, I know you're watching. I know Waco's watching. He got the link earlier.
I love Waco, by the way. Good.
I love the guy, of course. Listen, he knows that we're supporting this channel. We're going to drop the link one more time to the Revolution Watch channel on YouTube, which is the source of this video, and go there and subscribe. And reminder that this content is being replayed consistent with U.S. copyright laws under fair use. We're actually driving a ton of traffic to Revolution. They need subs, they need views, and we're happy to help in our own way to drive tremendous amount of traffic over there. So we're doing our part. He understands that. But yeah, listen, we're going to replay this a little time just because it's funny. It's a funny little anecdote.
That are in kind of a medium price range as well. But let's say you're the guy that can afford $100,000 high volume, and you're told now, hey, we're going to allocate you this watch. Where do you want it sent, right? Well, if you get it sent to your American retail partner, right, all of a sudden you're going to be like, hey, now I got to spend another $30,000 on this watch. But let's say you're the pounds, right? The segment of the population that's most affected is like us, the middle class, right? And it's really tough for high volume brands that are in kind of a medium price range as well. But let's say you're the guy that can afford a $100,000 watch, and you're told now, hey, we're going to allocate you this watch. Where do you want it sent, right? Well, if you get it sent to your American retail partner, right, all of a sudden you're going to be like, hey,
listen, this is Waco, like in his own bubble, thinking that we work directly with a representative in Switzerland on the allocation of our pieces, like he does.
That's middle class customers, OC.
Middle class customers. Newsflash.
I wish he didn't say that.
Don't call up Terry Stern. Don't get a phone call from Terry Stern's assistant saying, "Oh, we have allocated a watch for you. In which country would you like to pick it up?"
It is nice though when you get to that level of that middle class, when they send you those emails. Like I used to think I was kind of middle class, and now I'm like, damn, I don't know.
Well, the scenario he's talking about, is absolute delusion. And like doesn't happen for 99.7% of people who buy watches.
No, very few people get offered. You're usually spending very close to six figures, if not six figures, or on a single piece, or well into like $500,000 before somebody's offering the opportunity of what the jurisdiction you're picking it up. Because also then if there's an AD involved, you're taking the money out of the AD, or there has to be a back deal with how the profit's shared. It becomes very complicated because you're the AD's customer, but you're so big that you're buying directly from some place like Paddock or wherever. So it's a very complicated thing. Very middle class. Very like.
I think this is a stark realization that if you're not getting calls directly from Alaria or Terry Stern for your allocations, newsflash, you're probably lower class, because Wei and Constant Quang are middle class. Okay, and so if that's not your typical purchase scenario. Hate to break it to you, but you're probably lower class.
Do you think that people don't like review things before they put them out? Because like really that's such like a honestly, like I like, you know,
who's gonna go to Waco? Who's gonna go to Waco and who's editing this video or whatever and say, by the way,
but
Waco,
he knows
it sounds
Waco
a little insensitive for you to sound. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. This is how he gets his watches.
No, man. No, come on, brother. Come on. I can't live in this world. I can't live in this world.
It's like asking Bill Gates what a gallon of milk costs. He doesn't know.
No, sir. That's different. I understand Bill Gates not knowing what a gallon of milk
costs. Are you saying Waco's not successful?
I'm saying Waco is very successful.
Why would you say that?
But I'm saying that
Waco does not know what a gallon of milk costs.
I'm sure he doesn't. But
Waco does not drink milk. He fucking oat milk. You could it's written all over his face.
I'm sure somebody blends the oat milk every morning for him. But to
sit
there and say with a straight face and then look at Constant Wu and guilt him into nodding with you, because he's like, bro, I'm going home to Bugatti tonight.
Middle class, man.
Bro, he has the hardest to get Royal Oak in the last 5 years. He calls himself middle class.
Turn on your camera real quick, Buckley. Turn on your camera. Like,
I'm sorry, man. I don't know.
Yeah, yo, middle class. You know, just like us, man.
Yeah.
Middle class.
You gotta look. The way he looked at
Buckley's got a trash bag hanging from his door. He's middle class as fuck.
We're doing a little renovation in here at the moment.
By the way, Logan Hall also mentions that their definition of typical watches was $100,000. You're going to buy a watch. 100,000 is a good number, for like a nice round number for a watch that we typically buy, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I don't even know.
Oh, I love it.
I want to drink.
Listen, let's
tonight.
get back. It's Waco, Constant Chang from Revolution Watch, and we're analyzing their new video on the hard truths.
The guy exclusively lives in purple label Ralph Lauren. He calls himself middle class.
There we go. Average watches, guys.
They're in kind of a medium price range as well.
The medium
Well, let's say
price
you're
range. The medium price
right?
range.
The segment of the population that's most affected is like us, the middle class,
Middle class, yeah.
right? And it's really tough for high volume
Tough,
brands
yeah.
that are in kind of a medium price range as well. But let's say you're the guy that can afford a $100,000 watch, and you're told now, hey, we're going to allocate you this watch. Where do you want it sent, right? Well, if you get it sent to your American retail partner, right, all of a sudden you're going to be like, hey, now I got to spend another $30,000 on this watch.
That's right.
Right? And I get nothing for that. But
Sorry,
with that same
31,000. Okay, now.
But with that
I don't
same $31,000,
So is he? This confuses me. I get where he's going with this. You can pick it up in Switzerland, pay the 5 to 8%, and then what? Fly back with it and not declare it?
Yeah. Well,
To me, it's weird.
he's not saying that. He didn't say that. But let's say you buy it at, let's say that $100,000 watch is $104,000 or whatever in Switzerland. Then you get 8% back. It's a lot different than paying $131,000.
Yeah, but when you bring it into the United States, are you not bringing in a Swiss import? And you have to pay that 31%?
No, you're wearing a watch. You're just wearing a watch.
No,
Diego.
but like, come on. In reality, you're still paying that 31 unless you're escaping the. I'm just surprised that he's even bringing this up.
Yeah,
Diego,
he shouldn't be saying that. Like
He
that.
shouldn't be
Not a
talking
problem,
like.
because we summer as middle class folk. We summer in Singapore. We winter in the Swiss Alps, because that's what middle class people do. So I technically live there and I have homes.
I'm just shocked that he's even talking about that.
Yeah,
He's not a guy that has to do that. Nobody really has to.
He hasn't said anything yet. He didn't say that you wasn't going to pay anything.
What he's saying is, well, you have to make the decision. Am I really going to get it shipped to the United States and pay the tariffs? You have to pay the tariff regardless of where you get it.
I don't think you do. By the way, Julius Caesar in the chat says that's right. Middle class people can afford $100,000 watch. Tobster McDonkey says flying private is a different world. You don't have to declare your watches. So that's a good point. Maybe you're chartering.
I didn't know that when you fly private that there's just no customs when you land. I was unaware of that.
Maybe there
I
isn't.
thought there was. Mm-hmm.
All I
You get
know
what I'm
is-
saying, CQ. The fact that he's even taking the conversation this direction is a little.
He's
strange.
talking. No, he's talking about what everybody knows is that rich people are very good at evading taxes. That's just the truth.
So the thing is, there are people who know how to do it, and there are people who don't, right? And so it's not wise, in my opinion, for him to do it because
there are people that know how to get away with.
Let the CQ finish.
Well, because there's there's all type of things, including use tax and all type of stuff that pops up down the road if you're not filing your things the right way, if you're not doing things, structuring things the right way. If you use a credit card, so you gotta really know what you're doing before. So it's not something that I would sit on his type of platform and even hint at being something that's possible, because it's all fun and games until you do it the wrong way, and then you got to audit, and then if you do get caught, it is a thing, right? It is a thing that they're always up your butt.
Our friend MJ would love you.
Maybe I love him too. I'm a lover.
Yep. I got Rose in the chat. He says that is not at all true. You still do customs declaration when flying private. I don't know how he would know. He's never flown private before, but maybe he read one time in a book about flying private. Same form. So I don't think he knows, but maybe one of his rich friends does. One of his clients. Let's get back to the action. Maybe he's not insinuating what we think he is. Maybe we're just reading into it. Yeah.
Now I got to spend another $30,000 on this watch.
That's right.
Right. And I get nothing for that.
Nothing.
Sorry, 31,000. Okay, now.
But with that same $31,000, I can take my family.
to a vacation.
I can stay in a really nice hotel. I can eat really great meals. We can have a moment that we really remember together and celebrate, and it can be like this joyous occasion. And I can come back home with my watch on my wrist.
Ooh.
And also,
I don't like that.
What are you trying to insinuate? He says he's wearing he's wearing the watch. That's all.
keep
He's
playing.
wearing the watch. That's it. Don't go. Don't get your panties in a bunch.
It can be like this joyous occasion, and I can come back home with my watch on my wrist. Now, I say this also because I'm not sure how strictly this will be monitored in terms of bringing a watch back into the country, right? I have seen in other countries, like, for example, in China, where there's very strict penalties for bringing
Thailand as well.
Yeah, we're bringing a watch in from another country and pretending that it's something that you had all along. But anyway.
But in the United States, maybe it's not something that's strictly enforced.
It's not something I'd be talking about on his type of platform, because there's so much unfortunate people who think it's just as easy, and it ain't. It ain't. God bless him.
Andre Montero brings up an important middle class question. What about allocating your $100,000 watch overseas and leaving it in your second home? That's something that a lot of us have the option to do.
Yeah,
good middle class vacation home in another country.
You guys don't have
middleclassvilla.com.
You don't have a European collection.
Yeah.
What's in your Europe collection, OC?
There's nothing more frustrating than having to transport watches back and forth between homes. So yes, I understand this is a real thing.
It is. People do need watch transporters
From another country and pretending that it's something that you had all along. But anyway, we don't even know what's going to pan out from. We don't know how that's going to pan out, but we'll see. Okay, let's just say that it's feasible for you to bring the watch back in. Then you're going to
Yep. Let's just assume it. It's easy, guys. It's easy. Just bring the watch back in. You went on a $5,000 trip with your family and you saved $25,000 on a $100,000 watch. That sounds like a no fucking brainer to me.
really think about it, like maybe I should do that, because it's either $31,000 on nothing or $31,000 on an amazing experience.
Right. I see. His vacations are $31,000. Okay, typical middle class 3-day vacation.
I mean, you'd be surprised how much a Disney cruise costs,
3-day vacation.
It's either spend $31,000 on nothing or $31,000 to go for a few days to Paris to pick up your watch. Okay.
Because it's either $31,000 on nothing or $31,000 on an amazing experience.
Right.
What would you choose, bro?
Dude, I would go to freaking Dubai, dude.
Right. Well,
hey, let's go to Dubai.
Do not go to Dubai.
That might be the worst place to try to fucking smuggle a watch.
Listen,
Who said anything about smuggling? We're talking about import. We're talking about importing on the wrist. Okay.
Go to duty free. Try your luck in duty free or something. Do not do it, guys. Do not.
Duty free. They got fucking Nixon's there, man. Nixon's and yeah.
They got tags.
And
they got rollies. They got rollies.
Michelle.
Experience. Right. What would you choose, bro?
Dude, I would go to freaking Dubai, dude.
Right. Well, that's the other question, because where would you go?
Now get ready for the advice from Constant Schwang and Waco on where do you go to pick up your new luxury watches, because the U.S. dealers are dead. Don't even think about going there.
Mexican border.
So wherever you want to go, right? You want to have, first of all, VAT refund. Right.
Yeah. So of course, let's evade further taxes by getting the VAT refund. Smart move.
Immediately takes London off the table, because in its act of cosmic stupidity, the British government, since Brexit, has decided that that should not be refundable, which is the reason why I haven't gone to London since Brexit, because why would I go there to purposely pay a 20% premium on stuff? Right.
That doesn't sound like middle class talk to me.
Hey, listen.
He hasn't been middle class long enough,
It also means that he would never travel to London or England to do anything other than picking up a watch. Like there's no friends, sightseeing, culture, art, anything else other than going to a place just to pick up a watch, which is a very middle class mindset.
Yeah.
decided that that should not be refundable, which is the reason why I haven't gone to London since Brexit. Because why would I go there to purposely pay a 20% premium on stuff, right?
Nothing, dude. Like, you don't get anything back in return. Like, why?
Exactly. Well, it's like the Tariff situation.
Look at the look on Constance's face.
What do you want?
Why you go? You get nothing.
Why would I go there to purposely pay a 20% premium on stuff, right?
Nothing, dude. Like, you don't get anything back in return. Like, why?
Exactly. Well, it's like the Tariff situation, right? So then.
Listen carefully.
And like, why?
Exactly. Well, it's like the Tariff situation, right?
What does he mean?
He says it's like the tariff situation.
Oh, I thought he said. I thought he was. I was reading it. I thought he said terrorist. Okay, tariff situation.
No.
Jesus, bad transcribing. Okay, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
And that was a bad Asian.
It's like that one time we had that run with the terrorists.
So then let's look at some of the other capital cities in Europe. So you've got Paris, and you've got Rome, right? Maybe Milan, maybe Barcelona. But what's the problem with all of those cities?
What's the problem with those cities, CQ?
Oh, he's about to get in on immigration, isn't he?
I don't know what's he talking about.
Well, I think you know. Once you say Barcelona, you know, right?
Is he gonna really talk about theft right now? Like, how does that have to go into the conversation?
Well, I mean, Barcelona is the fucking crime capital of the world. So
yeah, but
he's just riffraffing at this point. Just let him go.
Yeah, like
let him go, man. Why are you trying to ruin his vibe, CQ? Milan, Barcelona.
Okay, all right. Like how does the robbery rate in any country affect if I'm going in there just to buy?
Let's talk about money? Paris. Let's talk about the situation in Paris, CQ.
Yeah, like what?
In Barcelona, you know what's going on there.
You know what's so crazy? In the beginning of the interview, when they were doing all that history, because I didn't know. I knew about the farmers, but I didn't know about the Protestants from France and all that. And I was like, oh, wow, man, look at these guys giving you the medicine with the sugar. And now here we are, middle class, and he's about to tell you these certain countries aren't good countries. You know what? I want to stop talking.
That's what we think he's going to say. I have no idea.
Let him go. Let me go. I'm going to stop.
By the way, Boston Collector reminds us, middle-class guys would know how to pay a watch mule $4,000 to fly there, get the watch and fly back without detection. And you don't have to worry about that issue at all.
If you need a legal watch mule, CQ2watchguy.com for legal watch mule.
Legal watch muling available for a fee. Okay.
Let's look at some of the other capital cities in Europe. So you've got Paris, and you've got Rome, right? Maybe Milan, maybe Barcelona. But what's the problem with all of those cities?
I just like pausing it there just to drive Buckley insane.
He might say that he might be insinuating that there's already a big collector base in those cities.
I hope so.
It's hard to get watches.
Yes. Yep. You're right. I believe the year.
Rome, right? Maybe Milan, maybe Barcelona. But what's the problem with all of those cities?
Bro, yeah, like if you talk about watches, they are one of the most unsafe places to go.
Exactly. So you have a crazy amount of watch crime in all of those places, and now you realize also it can be very violent watch crime as well.
That's
right. Yeah,
I don't want to say. It's not untrue. Let's be honest. Those places are a fucking shithole. Okay.
So you know what? Pay the $31,000.
It's not untrue, but also like this is a weird time to bring it up, in my opinion, because like
these are the hard truths facing the watch industry, CQ, and you don't want to deal with the harsh realities facing the collector community. These are the shit. This is the shit we should be thinking about. We don't want to go to Barcelona to pick up a watch. You out of your fucking mind? We'll have a guy with a machete will chop it off before we're even out of the boutique.
Like, come on. I just as somebody from like a tourist place, and like I hate to see fear-mongering like this. Like it's like, oh my gosh, don't go to Barcelona and get a great deal on a watch, which you can easily just buy, go straight back to your hotel or wherever, lock it up. You know how to be safe, not walk down the street with it. And enjoy the rest of your Barcelona trip. Come on,
guys in the chat. Maybe not people on the panel, but if you're in the chat, I mean, Buckley probably can't resist. But where do you think Waco does suggest a great place to go on vacation to pick up
Both
your
of
watches.
these guys,
Hold on a second. Think about it for a second and type it in the chat. Where do you think they're going to recommend that you do go to get your watches? Think about that carefully. Look at these guys on the screen. Look at them.
Don't do that. You're making my mind. Don't do it.
Where do you think they're going to recommend that you do go visit
New
to
Zealand,
get your watches?
New Zealand, Australia.
Which are good places.
Yeah. Yep. Idaho. Brody says Geneva. Andre Montero says Dubai. Cloud Ken says Long Island. Yeah, a lot of good places, but definitely not Barcelona, because it's not only watch crime. They're unsafe. Constant Chang says unsafe. Plus, Way says violent watch crime. These fuckers will chop your arm off with a fucking machete if they see a Rolex. So
I didn't know Milan was dangerous.
Milan?
Fucking Bloods and Crips everywhere shooting each other. You know?
Guys, this is he's doing a public service announcement right now. Okay, listen carefully.
Rome, right? Maybe Milan, maybe Barcelona. But what's the problem with all of those cities?
What's the problem with all of them? Not just one of them, all of them. Paris, Milan, Barcelona, Rome.
Bro, yeah, like if you talk about watch,
Ooh, man, you talk about the watches, it's watch crime.
just the most unsafe places to go.
Exactly. So you have a crazy amount of watch crime in all of those places. And now you realize also it can be very violent watch crime as well.
That's right.
Which to me, then how would you feel if you took your whole family on this beautiful vacation to go get the watch of your dreams and you got jacked by coming out of the store, right? And that means that basically you may have bought your $100,000 watch.
Truth, baby.
But you
Truth.
can't even wear it during your vacation
Can't.
because you're going to make yourself a target. And then that defeats the entire purpose of having
What a
this beautiful watch.
bitch.
That's right.
What a bitch. Waco's bitch.
That's a
I
little.
walked around, bro. I walked around Rome, fucking with a Pepsi on Jubilee the whole time. Nothing happened.
Okay, well,
What, a bunch of like little girls run up to you and fucking shut up, Way. Oh my god.
well, it's unsafe. He's
This is
looking
what
out for
happens when
out for the
you
collector.
shop. Oh, see,
I could have
This is what
saved
happens when
30
people can't do a pull-up.
I could have saved 31,000, but the fact that I couldn't wear it for those 3 days, it's not worth it.
It's so nonsensical. Like I'm triggered by the middle class of this video.
I'm with Way on this one. I'm agreeing with Way on a lot of this shit.
Yeah, when you wear your new watch, up the Spanish Steps, there's a bunch of fucking dudes up there waiting for you. Shut up.
You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? Not everywhere is Dubai. I understand. Yes, there's a lot of horrible watch crime, and we've seen so many crazy videos. But to be on a platform like this and fairmonger, right? And like,
Dude, I want to take him in the subway. I want to take him in the subway in New York and see him fucking splash.
What's the benefit of his fear mongering though? Are they going to say buy from us?
That's what I'm so confused about this video is that, hey, don't go to Paris, don't go to Barcelona. That's what, like, I guess I shouldn't take offense because I'm not from there, but I'm like, I'm from the Caribbean and stuff goes down where I'm from all the time. And like, if I heard somebody like this just saying like, hey, don't go visit St. Thomas because like this random thing or this random thing in the newspaper, and I'd be like, bro, you telling people don't go down there right now to get a Rolex and a Heineken on the beach? You crazy. You're like you're swindling people out of a good time just because, like, I understand, but it's like
being a bitch. They're both being little bitches.
Cause now you look like, you look like two hoity-toity guys who like, oh, I don't want to.
Listen, middle class people can't afford to get their arms chopped off. You know,
this is true.
And let's take a quick aside. It's like, how do you solve watch theft crime, right? Let's take a page from Singapore. The reason why criminals are encouraged to go and steal watches in all of these capital cities is because the penalties are so little, right? And that's because it's almost as if the rights of the criminals are considered to be higher than the rights of the victims.
You say it.
What
Waco
is going on?
He's not wrong.
Now we're on a political rant.
wrong,
I'm loving this.
He's not wrong in that sense.
He's not wrong, but like, well, this is a watch video.
Yeah. Look at Constant
Where are the cameras,
Chai-Can.
guys? Turn on your cameras.
Constant
Be accountable.
Chai-Can thinking about
that's true.
Constance wants out. He's like looking at the producer like, hey, we hit Tariff. We're done. He's like, I told you guys, we can't let
Look
him
at
go.
that look. Screenshot and send that to Constant Chain, man.
He definitely is like, yo, I told you at 20 minutes we have to stop because then he'll go down this path.
Listen, but Waco's a cool guy. He understands
Dude.
we're doing this analysis, and a little bit's in jest. It's a little satire, some comedy here, but we're on his side. We support him 100%. I know we all do.
Of course.
And
There's another 8 minutes of this too.
I know it's some good stuff coming up.
This is like crazy.
Are we gonna get into abortion?
No,
they're just getting started. So far, we covered what? Middle class, watch crime.
I want to hear his opinion on the death penalty.
I feel like that's what we're about to get into, and it's like, what are we talking about?
Trans rights, abortion, the right to bear arms. Here we go.
Listen,
oh my gosh!
Just because Waco supports the rights of the victims over the rights of the criminals, that's no need to get upset. I think it's. I happen to agree with Waco.
Dude,
the penalties are too lenient.
So what are the viewers of Revolution supposed to do about it? You know, like look at Constance's face right now. This poor guy is like, I feel so bad. If I see him, I want to hug him. I'm like, I'm sorry that Wade does that to you, bro. You're just trying to do a little video and like.
Huge shout out to Constant Kwong. Really appreciate. Listen, we do the funny accents and stuff. It's nothing. You know, sinister. We're just having a little fun. We, you know, like when Diego makes voices.
No,
and stuff.
I didn't do any voices.
But this is a great shot. Please screenshot this and send it to Mr. Kwong, and let him know that send him a link to the video. I'm sure he'll like it.
Hey, we're here for you, Constance. We support you.
We support you.
We understand. We understand what's going on. Right?
We are. Look at this shot. What do I fucking say now? Oh, you gotta love it, guys. This is the original OC channel. We still have 50 people watching after 3 hours on the air. Upvote the fucking stream. Upvote the stream. Make sure you have the notifications enabled on your iPhone. Make sure you have notifications set to all. It's the OC channel. The best panels in the business. We got CQ, Diego, and Buckley. You don't get a better panel than that on any live stream anywhere in the world. OC channel, the best channel anywhere on earth for watches on at this time slot.
About like his birth. He's remembering coming out of the womb right now and rethinking every decision of his life that led him up. Look at his face. Like no, look at that face. It's like, how did we get here? I was just at Watches and Wonders. Look, he's done. He's over it now. Look at his face.
All right, let's get back to it. Maybe the rest of the video will be completely non-controversial.
To solve watch theft crime, right? Let's take a page from Singapore. The reason why criminals are encouraged to go and steal watches in all of these capital cities is because the penalties are so little, right? You know, and that's because it's almost as if the rights of the criminals are considered to be higher than the rights of the victims, which is
that's so true, Wei. That's so true.
Crazy, man.
So if you want to eliminate watch crime in your city, and I suggest that every retail organization,
Waco for governor,
all the watch retailers in any specific one of these cities I talk to, you guys band together and lobby your politicians, right?
Oh, I'm not going to get. I didn't want to. There's not going to be there's no politics in this video, but let's fucking do a protest. Lobby your politicians.
Keep going.
In any specific one of these cities I talk to, you guys band together and lobby your politicians, right? All you need to do is impose the same penalties that watch crime would have if you were here in Singapore, right? Which is if you rob someone in Singapore, it's mandatory 10 years in jail. And potential caning as well, yes, right? Yeah. So
caning, we need to bring caning to the United States.
Shit.
When I was a kid growing up, there was that very famous case of the teenager that got caught in Singapore who spit out the gum on the sidewalk and was sentenced to 12 canings. And that's the first time we ever knew what caning was, and there was that big backlash. He was like 17 or whatever. He was a kid. You guys, you older people in the chat, you remember this? The kid got caught in Singapore, like throwing a wrapper on the street or whatever, maybe spitting out a piece of gum.
I've heard about that they have like crazy laws and drugs too, right?
Yeah. You don't.
Well, you got very excited about the caning topic.
Yeah, this is such a weird thing to be talking about. Because, what are you talking about? What are
We're
we
talking about
really-
lobbying our politicians in your local jurisdiction to impose strict penalties, 10 years in prison for
Okay. So I'm supposed to do that
watch theft.
for watches versus like my property, my car. Like what are we like? Why are we even having these type of conversations right now? Yes, I listen. I lived in Dubai and it was the safest. I can't even explain to you how safe. I had a store where literally, I'm not lying to you, the insurance company came and looked at my safe and it said, "Oh, this safe is too big. You'll never need all this room." I'm like, "What?" Because we never need to take the watches out of the showcases at night. I just lock the door. I lock the glass door. I don't bring down like a big shutter or anything. I just close the glass doors. I put a little code and like I don't even think about it. If there's
but what's the penalty for theft in Dubai?
oh man, I don't even want to know.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
why it's so safe.
I've seen a gazillion videos of people leaving the watches like by the water fountain or whatever as a test, and
Yeah.
they
All
come
day.
back an hour later and the watches are still there. You know,
All
in
day.
Dubai. Yeah. Vimal, by the way, refreshes our recollection on the incident. Faye was the name of the guy. His last name was arrested for stealing road signs. Wow, in Singapore and vandalizing 18 cars over a 10-day period. I think he keyed them in September 1993. So I'm surprised he didn't get like 20 years in prison.
Oh wow, yeah.
I was
for
about to
that.
say 12 canes. That's not bad.
That's not bad. I think he got like 50 canes or something like that on the bare buttocks. On the bare buttocks. Let's keep going. There's a few minutes left in this video. We want to make sure we get through the rest of it.
So what is caning? That's where they think about like a medieval flogging, right? You know, like basically they strip you naked, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh boy.
Like, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he has paid Dominatrix to fucking cane him before.
Yo,
Waco has been caned at his own pleasure. You could see it in his eyes.
look at Constance, man. He
I
wants
believe-
Why is he now I'm going to side with CQ. Why is he bringing up a definition of caning?
I don't know, but
Ripping someone naked.
I've heard you have to be naked.
Constance is like, I told you I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Bro, look at how excited he is. 'Cause I'm telling you, he's gone to some underground place and be like, fucking hit me harder, bitch. Fucking, my dad never loved me. Fucking hit me.
Oh, Waco, we're just having a little bit of fun. But this is it is a little peculiar that he would go into the topic.
No, I would tell him in his face that this was the video started great and then we took a certain turn at a certain point. And I do not blame Constance for feeling awkward because if I was there as well, I'd have been trying to end it every next sentence. Say, hey guys, thank you so much. Because like,
See, and you were concerned. You were concerned about the middle class term. We are well beyond that now.
That's nothing.
Past that.
Who cares about
So
that?
to answer your question, does somebody go back and edit this and review it? No, they don't.
No.
I don't.
Because right here, you're like, well, guys, do we really need the segment where we go into depth about being bare naked while they're caned? And we need to then give them the metaphor of flogging.
Can you imagine being the editor going like, hey, wait, the video's running at like 29 minutes. I'm thinking we could chop it down to 28 and a half if we don't describe the naked buttocks, when we go into the caning part. And Way goes, you know what? Keep that part in. Yeah. Keep it in.
I fully support all of Waco's sexual proclivities.
Hey, yeah, of course.
On.
Listen. But just not in the watch video though. This is supposed to be a tariffs. We're talking about retail prices, tariffs.
Imagine going to Japan with Waco and you guys knock back a couple of bottles of sake. You're like, what do we do now? He leans over in your ear and goes, dude, you gotta try caning.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Amazing.
When in Tokyo.
All right.
You gotta try. You ever been caned? You gotta try caning.
So what is caning? That's where they.
What is caning, guys? The hard truths about the watch industry. And now the next topic: what is caning?
In the United States,
think about like
I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to say it.
What is caning?
The equivalent in the United States would be.
In 1783, when the French Huguenots came over the Alps,
medieval flogging, right?
Oh man, Constance Kwong, you are a fucking mensch, man. You're a great sidekick. You're an amazing partner for Way.
I'm glad he stuck around this long for sure. Because
What's he supposed to do? What is he supposed to do? Like exit the frame and not do? Come on.
No,
what a trooper you are, man. We support you 100%. This is fun.
Basically, they strip you naked. If I'm not mistaken.
If I don't know for sure.
Yeah, if you're not mistaken.
Listen, I have no idea.
In my experience, upon being caned.
No, I've never heard of, but I think maybe it involves stripping naked, from what I may have heard.
Basically, they strip you naked. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they strip you naked. All right, they will put a book to make sure that the whip would not hit your spine to protect you from spinal damage.
I didn't know that.
They do.
Oh,
and
you learned something new. You learned something.
Oh, I prefer to get hit in the spine whenever I do it.
I've been doing it all wrong all along.
No, Constance took the bait. Now I understand. Now I understand what's going on. Constance is one of those people who will explain anything.
Yeah.
So Waco's just like, if I just talk about it enough, I'll get him to do it.
He's there as the expert. He's there as the expert
face.
to add color and clarification.
You know what he's
anything that
thinking?
Waco breaks up.
I love this video.
You know what he's thinking right now? He's like, I'm hard as a rock listening to you talk about this.
Would not hit your spine to protect you from spinal damage.
I didn't know that.
They do.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
and
you know a lot about.
Look at that look Way gives to the camera.
Because he knew it. He knew he could get him to talk about
look
it.
Look at him turn towards the camera, towards the audience, and go, "Oh, look, guys, I was not aware."
Would not hit your spine to protect you from spinal damage.
I didn't know that.
They do.
Oh.
This is fucking gold, man. Fucking gold.
Interesting.
Yo, I love this. This wins best video they
Learn something new every day.
It's not the best one. The Kelly Yoke one was way better than this one. If you haven't seen that one, go back a few days.
Hold on. Can we clip this? Just this segment. Just upload it on YouTube. What is caning?
Oh, I didn't know that.
So when someone Googles what is caning, this is the video that
he'll get notified. He'll get notified that you clipped it. But yeah, you can't clip it.
I'm crying right now. This is so...
The definition of caning.
Look, we're doing a video about tariffs, and across the screen it says "protect you from spinal damage." What the fuck are they talking about?
I didn't know that. Oh my God.
Play that part again.
You can't make this shit up. By the way, if you want to join the panel, the link is pinned at the top of the chat. We want to talk about caning and your experience with caning. Did they use a book or not? Let us know. Jump on the panel.
Oh my gosh, this is good.
But it's true. They actually, I did not know that.
I want to see that part one more time.
The whip would not hit your spine.
They strip you naked. Basically.
Okay. Here we go. What is caning, guys?
Years in jail
and
caning. Potential caning as well,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
So what is caning? That's where they think about like a medieval flogging, right? You know, basically they strip you naked. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they strip you naked.
But if I'm not, please explain in further detail, Constant. He turns to him and says, like, you take it from here. What the fuck kind of position is he in?
Yo, this is insane.
This is insane. And now I want to talk about caning, Constant.
Hey, but you know what? So what I love about this is Constance is such a professional. He doesn't even
miss a beat. He goes right into it.
And like, oh yes, of course, and gives you the beautiful fact about the book that none of us knew. So we're all just like, oh wow, really? And it's like we don't even know that we're watching a watch video about Tariffs, and now we're talking about. Oh my God.
And now about caning. Now I believe they strip you naked.
Hold on, hit play. I gotta see the oh.
First Boston collector, member for 8 months. Thank you so much for your member super chat. 50 Shades of Way. Fuzzy cuffs, blindfolded, socks and shoes on, strip naked. Rishepi on the wrist. Thank you, Boston. I just love how he tosses it, and the word toss is a broadcasting term, tosses it to Constant, and he just, without skipping a beat, goes right into, yes, that's true, that you are naked. Let me talk more about it. Love it.
They strip you naked, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they strip you naked. All right, they will put a book to make sure that the whip didn't.
Look at this. Look at this.
They
Look.
strip you naked. All right, they will put a book to make sure that the
Keep talking, baby. I'm hard as a rock.
Yo, this is
The
wild.
fucking editing. Whoever edited this, man, you deserve like a fucking what's the editing award? Like an Emmy, you know, like some kind of prize.
Oh my god!
Good editing, man.
This is too
Love
good.
it. It's too good.
they strip you naked. All right, they will put a book to make sure that the whip would not hit your spine to protect you from spinal
Oh,
damage.
I didn't know that.
They do.
Oh,
And
yeah, you know a lot about caning, bro.
You know a lot.
Yo, what is going on?
What is happening in this video? I gotta put I gotta turn this up to like full resolution.
Why is he doing this in podcast? Podcast is like, I just tried to come to work. I just wanted to talk about the tariffs, and you got me down this rabbit hole.
I bet you AP is thrilled that he got the fucking blue fucking ceramic open work
Dude,
perpetual or whatever the fuck he got.
OC. Francois is the one who taught him about caning.
He's got a sense of humor. I give him that. Look,
no,
he's
for
having
sure.
a good time. He's
This
having
is
a good time.
entertainment. I love it. This is amazing. This might be one of the best videos I've ever seen.
Like he's giving like this serious lecture. Look at him. Caning is defined as.
No, it really is like he's just like he can't help himself but explain. And Waco knew it. Waco knew it. Like I bet you I could get him to talk about caning.
He's given the same energy as if he was like talking about the virtues of like a Patek perpetual calendar.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
The facial expressions and the fact that every time like when Constant starts talking, like Wei kind of does this thing where he's looking at Constant, then he turns towards the camera and he's like, he's doing the whole thing where he's looking into our eyes while we're getting schooled on what
if he's looking at the camera like, is this guy literally about to describe in detail?
I think that's what it is. I think he's looking at the cameraman and see like
Because then he goes, wow, you know a lot about caning, bro.
I'm telling you, we're in inside joke territory. I think from middle class it was an inside joke, and from then on, this is all like inside jokes, and it just kept it in because like this rewards you if you got this far into the video, because now you're dying as you're talking about flying.
Here we go. Back to the action, maybe for the last time. So soak it in.
Yeah.
To make sure that the whip would not hit your spine to protect you from spinal damage.
I didn't know that.
They do.
Oh,
And
yeah, you know a lot about caning, bro.
You know a lot about caning, bro.
spinal damage.
I didn't know that.
They do.
Oh,
And
yeah, you know a lot about caning, bro.
yeah, it's painful, okay?
Right.
And that's, I think, if you were talking about harsh punishment.
He said it's fucking painful. I think they had to edit that out. So
Yeah, it's painful, okay?
Right.
And that's, I think, if you were talking about harsh punishment, that should be part of harsh punishment.
Of course. And then on top of that, like, don't think 10 years in jail in Singapore is going to be like the 10 years in jail in the United States, right? In some country club prison.
this is not getting political.
Prison.
What is going on? Are we watching a OC stream? A late night OC stream? Like no, for real. No,
Country club, not some country club prison like in the United States.
Yeah, like what? Folsom Prison? Yeah, country club.
No, for real. Like what?
You got 2 options. You can become a Nazi,
Like
or you
that's
can become
fucking
like.
Rikers Prison we got.
Ugh.
Jeez.
Oh man,
Yeah, I think
the hits keep coming, guys.
I love it.
All right.
This is my favorite.
Upvote the live stream, guys. We're having a blast. If you appreciate the content, upgrade your membership. Super chat. Come on, where are the super chats? Not even a single super chat tonight. You guys are crazy. This is gold content. Give it up for Buckley, Diego, CQ for jumping on this panel, entertaining you all night. Come on, guys.
in Singapore is going to be like the 10 years in jail in the United States, right? In some country club prison. You're going to be sleeping on a concrete floor, crying your ass to sleep every night,
Crying your what to sleep? Interesting choice of terms.
Keep going.
yeah, just a second.
in some country club prison. You're going to be sleeping on a concrete floor, crying your ass to sleep every night, calling for your mama. And every morning they're going to wake your ass up and they're going to make you march around the parade square carrying a full pack full of bricks.
Dude, are you sure you go into the same prison?
Okay, it's a detention barracks in the army, but it's similar, right?
Similar,
exactly.
similar.
So the point is, it's like it's enough of a deterrent here that like no one's going to touch your watch. We've done videos in the past where we've showed how safe it is, right? And it's just simply because if you make the penalty harsh enough, ain't nobody going to steal your watch.
That's right.
Politicians of all these capital cities around the world. So let's get back to what cities do we think could potentially benefit from travel retail?
Okay, so what cities should you go to smuggle? I mean, evade customs and bring your new watch back into the United States or whatever country from which you originate. And now we had some great guests, some great guesses in the chat. We had, Boise, Idaho, El Salvador, San Salvador, a lot of great capitals. But let's see what Waco has to say here. Last couple minutes of the video, guys.
As you said correctly.
Dubai.
Well, you want, from the perspective, let's say it's an American tourist, you want him to be familiar with the type of hotels that he's staying in. Dubai's got a Waldorf, it's got a Four Seasons. It's got, in fact, Dubai and Singapore to some extent as well, has amazing hotels.
Dude.
That's important because, listen, when you're looking for middle-class hotels like the Four Seasons, right, Dubai's got it. So maybe Dubai should be your destination.
You want him to be familiar with the type of hotels that he's staying in. Dubai's got a Waldorf. It's got
a Waldorf.
A nice one too. A couple nice ones.
Listen, you're a middle class guy looking to pick up your watch. You want to know that there's a good Waldorf or Four Seasons available.
Seasons. It's got, in fact, Dubai and Singapore to some extent as well has amazing hotels.
Dude, every
freaking hotel you can imagine, we have it in one of these two countries. Then you're going to want to eat good food, right?
That's right.
And both,
of course, got to eat good food. Waco's always having lots of those fancy dinners.
Both these countries, Dubai and Singapore, have amazing dining options as well, right? Then you're going to want to have a decent flight. Well, both Emirates and Singapore Airlines are great airlines as well.
Shout out to Singapore Airlines, guys, and Emirates.
Shout out Emirates.
And then last of all, you're going to want to be super safe where you can buy your watch on the first day of your trip there and enjoy it every single day that you're there, wearing it without any care that anything's going to happen to you. And that's perfectly true in both of these countries.
I'll add one more.
Okay, so Dubai and Singapore. Looks like Constant wants to add one more potential location.
Is that the amount of luxury watch brands choices?
So,
one more reason to go to Dubai or Singapore. Okay, got it. So let me see if let's so we want some place that has great hotels, great middle class hotels, incredible restaurants, lots of fun stuff to do. It's safe and lots of brand choices. Got it.
Also, on top of that, you have the best retailers in the world in these two countries as well.
Shout out, now let's kiss some ass. Let's typical Waco fashion. He's the best at this.
So in Singapore, you have the legendary Hourglass. You've also
shout out to Michael Tay,
and you've got Cortino watch as well. And these three comprise some of the best retailers in the world, if not the best. But then in Dubai, you've got the legendary Siddiqui family, and those guys are game changing. In fact, you might even schedule your watch purchase around.
You might even schedule your purchase around going to Dubai for Dubai Watch Week at what's the name of their Siddiqui and Sons in the Dubai Mall?
I'm at Siddiqui and Sons, but they own so they have multi-brand stores, but they own 70% of all the brands they are under their group. So there
you go.
Yeah.
Very good idea. This is very
Great
helpful
family.
Travel advice.
And those guys are game changing. In fact, you might even schedule your watch purchase around November when there's Dubai Watch Week. And then you can go and hang out with all your watch nerd buddies as well and have the most fun celebration. Constant, you went to Dubai Watch Week for your first time, right? How fun is it?
It's the best. It's all the melting pot of all watch collectors and enthusiasts all come together in a great fair, great festivals, and everybody's in great mood. It's just a fun time.
Okay, guys, anyway, this video has not been brought to you by Singapore Tourism Board and Dubai Economy and Tourism.
Maybe it has.
Yeah, because he named
He named the exact agencies involved, and it was not brought to you by the Waldorf Astoria or the Four Seasons or the Marriott Vacation Club.
The Waldorf, which is very close to where the Dubai Watch
just happens to be there. He's not staying there himself. At least he hasn't announced that, but maybe he will be. If you want to join CQ and OC in Dubai for Dubai Watch Week and all kinds of other fun stuff, reach out to me. We'll add you to the WhatsApp group.
I gotta get going, guys. This is fun. I'll keep listening,
Cool.
but I gotta
We're almost
go
done. We're almost
do
done.
some chores.
See you
All right,
soon,
peace
Diego.
out.
All right,
See you
Joe.
guys.
All right, CQ and I go hang out till the end here. We're almost done with this video.
But the point is, okay,
Yeah.
maybe these two countries will be beneficiaries because, especially when you're talking about the sophisticated level of watchmaking, they are going to want retailers that really, first of all, have that kind of watch. Second of all, know how to sell it in a way that makes you have a fun experience as well, and that certainly exists in both of these countries.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, the point is we still don't know what the tariff situation will be, and we don't know if the reactions will be that extreme. What we know for sure is that America will still be the #1 watch market in the world. It's so huge right now. At 4.2 billion, it's double the size of China, right? And so I know China is #2, but that's a huge gulf. So the question is, what's going on in China, and do we think the Chinese watch market may recover, right? Because
Interesting question. I think Buckley has very strong opinions on this. He's for sure saying it's never going to come back. Or it's not likely to come back anytime soon. What about you, CQ? What do you say?
No, I don't think so. There's nothing because I think culturally they're just not sure. They're not buying the same things. They're not wearing the same type of things anymore. So I think once culture has changed,
if by culturally things have changed, if you mean that the watches don't go for over retail anymore, and so it's not considered hype, therefore a majority of Chinese aren't going to be interested in those brands. Is that what you mean?
Well, I think luxury as a whole is not doing well in the Chinese market, right? And I think culturally, I don't know the exact oranges of it, but they're moving away from being a culture of being very brandy, very show-offy, into a more reserved, under the radar culture. So in this culture, you're just not going to get the volume of watch sales. You're going to get like FP Jones and stuff like that, but that's not enough. Indies aren't enough to really move the needle for you. And I think, I don't think that's going to ever come back, because there was a time where brand could wholly serve China and not worry about any other countries, and now that day is gone. But that's how strong of a force they were, that if they really loved you, if you're just like a little funky brand, they really loved you, you didn't even need to look anywhere else. So now it's a different game.
Yep. Let's see what the answer is. Will the Chinese market recover?
The question is, what's going on in China, and do we think the Chinese watch market may recover, right? Because it's been very flat and kind of dormant in the last couple of years. Part of that is because the economy in China has been a little bit impacted by the housing crisis, by a lot of other things. But one maybe interesting byproduct of this whole trade war, right, is that China now, if it's not going to rely on U.S. consumption of its goods, right, and the United States represents 15% of Chinese exports, then China really needs to kickstart its domestic consumption all over again.
I'm sure.
And in order to kickstart domestic consumption, you have to give confidence to the population. And the best way to give confidence to the population is for the economy to soar.
Economic boom. That's the best
Exactly.
way. Yeah.
So I don't want to say Constant and I are economists by any large stretch of the imagination.
Nope. Definitely not. As he looks to the sky for inspiration. Economic knowledge inspiration.
So I don't want to say Constant and I are economists by any large stretch of the imagination, but just using our kind of common sense, it could be very interesting to keep your eye on what's going to happen in China in the next couple of years. Because if it is able, it has a huge, almost insurmountable gulf between 2 billion and over 4 billion in terms of being the world's biggest consumer of luxury watches. But if anyone could do it,
China can. I guess. My biggest bet would be China. They are the second, right? they are really the second, and things can change so quickly in a year, dude.
Right.
Like nobody knows.
Okay, the last thing we want to talk about was what's going to be a little bit controversial. So
we're gonna go to a controversial topic now.
Okay, I'm ready.
Everything else was tame. Here we go.
This is an advance. Is
really
the whole concept of Swiss made. Okay. Right? Because one of the things that you see now.
Okay, so Swiss made is now going to play a part in this.
happening on social media is that China's now showing all these videos about what's actually being made in their factories in China, right?
Okay.
Which is, again, I mean, I wouldn't say it's completely accurate. Like I would say, you know, but it's very effective to draw attention to what's going on.
Marketing.
No, it's very clever marketing. Yeah. One thing that, of course, is a little bit kind of curious to us is how everyone was impacted except for Apple. Like, how did that happen, bro?
Another non-political statement.
It's very, very non-political video.
Non-political video, totally. I haven't watched any of these AI videos in their totality. I understand what they're trying to convey. Like, hey, in China, we actually make a bunch of this stuff that's as good a quality as, or maybe even the exact same goods, and then they get shipped to Italy or France or whatever, and then they like, you know, sew a label on it or whatever. So when you're attacking China, you're actually attacking, to a large extent, the people who make the luxury goods that you think are coming from the fancy places. So I think that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, which, you know, to a large aspect is true, right? And even within the watch industry, not like the biggest players, but a lot of it are parts coming from international places. You know, and not everybody's as transparent with that as, you know, people getting seagull movements and put it in their watches. There are people who are not transparent at all. Then, you know, that's what makes it hard to sell increases in prices, because, hey, you're never really telling me what your cost is, right? So, like, I'm just hoping that you're being a good person and you're just saying, oh, I need to just make 3x when you could be really making 10x on me, and I would never really know. Not to say that's happening with everybody, but for sure there's some brands out there where you can point where they got that movement from. You can point where they got that case from. You know, it's not that hard to Google stuff and figure out, you know, what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're almost at the end here. Let's see what they say about this Chinese Swiss-made issue.
Everyone was impacted except for Apple. Like, how did that happen, bro? but never mind. It's okay. That having been said, one thing that Tim Cook said that was very interesting was the following. He said that he didn't manufacture iPhones in China because it was cheaper.
Yep.
He manufactured iPhones in China because the precision engineering was just at a different level, right? He said something along the lines, if he put all the people with PhDs in precision engineering in a room in the United States,
Fill a classroom, right?
Yeah, it'd be a classroom. But if you did it in China, fill a football field, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, incredible levels of quality are being manufactured in China right now, right? And this is true also for the Swiss watch industry, because the Swiss watch industry also manufactures an incredible amount of parts in China. So right now, if you guys are not aware of it, it's like the way in which something is classified or categorized as Swiss-made is that 60% of the total value of that watch needs to be accrued in Switzerland. But that can also easily mean that you're getting all of your parts from China, for example.
Right, because number one, that's a very low threshold, and number two, they can make the bracelet, and even a case in China, and then they can ship it back to Switzerland, and then they can basically drop the movement in, and then put the high cost of labor. They can say, well, the labor value is X, so that's how we meet the 60% threshold of the value of the watch, you know, being Swiss. Therefore, it gets the Swiss-made designation. So it's like it's a little bit of
you get very, very creative.
Yeah, they can get very, very creative there, so they can mask what is that. But I think it's well known, like there are a lot of bracelet manufacturing that gets done in China, and cases and things like that. So, and actual individual movement parts as well. Maybe even movements in their entirety. Who knows?
In Switzerland. But that can also easily mean that you're getting all of your parts from China, for example, assembling your watch, putting a Swiss movement into it, and the cost of both the movement and the assembly becomes
60%. Yeah.
Exactly. It's curious to me that TikTok still hasn't exposed all the watch parts that are being manufactured in China, right? And I think that maybe the way around this is that either you have to be stricter in terms of what is Swiss made, and hopefully that happens. The other thing is to take a page from Atelier Wen and actually,
if Rolex took the Swiss made off of its watches, CQ, do you think anyone would give a shit?
No, I think Swiss made helps you if you're a lower brand, but if you're already in the game, it doesn't really matter.
Rolex can just say, you know what, we're Rolex made.
Yeah.
How about that? You know, we'll make the watch according to our standards, and that's all you have to worry about. When you buy the box that says Rolex on it, that says enough. Don't worry about, you know, just like they did with cost certification and all that shit, right?
Yeah, it's all, even this movement talk, this all happened because ETA got a little too like, oh, we only want to, well, what happened, too many people are trying to buy movements from them. They want to be selective in who they can buy movements for. There was a lawsuit that said they could restrict who they're buying movements for, and that just made everybody go very hard on the branding. So Breitland spent 10 million on the BO1 movement. So now I'm all about in-house movement. So all of a sudden people are coming and they're talking about, well, does this have an in-house movement? Do you know what an in-house movement is? Do you care? Do you know what the frequency is? Do you care? It's 28,800 VPH. You know what I mean? So like now you've been swindled, and now it's all about, oh, well, what movement's in it? And it's like, well, do you really care? And they've used all these different marketing terms, and now the movement could be, you don't even know what the movement is. You know, is it a Parmigiani movement? Is it a Varsher movement? And then if it's that, it became very complicated, but the brands did it to themselves. ETA started it, and then everybody just went terminology crazy, and now we're in this situation.
Yep.
But it's Swiss made, and hopefully that happens. The other thing is to take a page from Atelier Wen and actually embrace the quality of what actually can be made in China.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
But anyway, we are just asking this question to you. What do you think of this whole idea of Swiss made? And what do you think of the potential quality of great things coming from China? Guys, thank you so much for tuning in.
Oh, they did an edit. They finally did an edit.
And what do you think of the potential quality of great things coming from China? Guys, thank you so much for tuning in.
Something happened. You see Constance's face? Something happened.
Something big happened.
And they were like, please, we got to take at least this out. At least this. Look at his face. He's dying right now. Again, poor guy survived this video. I don't know how.
Unbelievable. Here's what we're going to do. We had a pretty amazing show. I'm going to drop the link now to the Watch Hangout, which is live. So click on this link to head on over to the Watch Hangout. When you go over there, please make sure that you tell them that OC sent you. The first thing you want to do is drop a comment in the chat, say OC sent you. Before you leave, make sure you upvoted here. I want to thank CQ, Buckley, Diego for jumping on. This is the OC channel. Make sure you're subscribed, and we will catch you. Be sure to upvote. Make sure you become a member, all that good stuff. And we will catch you on the next one. But head on over to Watch Hangout and tell them OC sent you. But can't say goodbye without without reaching for the crown. Have a great night, everybody. CQ, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Oh, my pleasure.
Really appreciate it. All right. Peace out.
Peace out.